So how did you come to the decision to leave the Navy?
It wasn't necessarily... I don't feel like I made that decision. I went on like body recoveries and stuff, so I had to march around the base and everything, because I wasn't fined for not shaving. I was fined for not following a written order. We went basically to rural Thailand. When I first arrived, I was walking down the street and like little kids would stop and like look at you going like, that's a white person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I had a student who was in a really bad place. She drew some like amazing art, but some of it was super messed up. But I had to like fight through school to do something about it, because talking about mental health over here is quite shameful. You don't want to bring. Do you think that would work in any school in New Zealand?
No.
They did that over there.
And there was no issues with it though.
There was no issues with it.
Well, is there disciplinary kind of processes a bit more extreme than ours?
Right.
Not really. If I think about the sort of person I was before I went to Thailand, I'm very glad I made that.
So you've made the decision, you leave Thailand, you come back to New Zealand. Is that when you go into uni?
Yeah, that's the party that we were. So we rebranded to Opportunity. We originally were TOP in the last 3 elections.
The Opportunity.
Yep, it's a party.
Yeah.
Yep.
So would you have a seat at the table in the beehive
if we got elected?
You got elected.
We're looking for 5%.
But you
Even
work
if you
as
have a
well.
job.
Even if you have a job.
Oh, you just get it.
Everyone gets it.
So is it more rates?
In a way.
I don't want that.
But
you can keep your $370.
Wait.
But didn't
You
you
put
say
the
this
prices-
would
you put-
replace wins?
So wins wouldn't be operating the same way. I believed. I can't. I had times where I haven't believed. I sort of like, why would anyone want to be around? Why would anyone want to have a relationship with me? All that sort of thing.
Did you get bullied when you
What
were
the
younger?
deepest parts look like? Obviously you're isolating, so you're probably just spending a lot of time to yourself. But what's happening in those times?
I'm. That's a hard one to talk about.
Welcome back to the Making a Statement podcast. We're at episode 34 and we are climbing, but a little bit slower because we're now on a fortnightly schedule. So I hope you guys tuning in have noticed the shift and the change up, and that's just to make sure we're bringing you guys quality, and it's also to make sure that we're getting quality of life behind the scenes as well. Over here we got Brother E, who's just launched his business, Cool Comfort Solutions, and is doing massive. So give yourself a plug and a wave.
Hi, I'm Ethan.
Yeah, behind the scenes, Cuzzy DJ TJ.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the way you said episode. You said episode.
Maybe that's
I
what
thought
I
you said
wanted
episode.
to say.
Yeah, you said something like that. But yo.
Yo. And I am Dills. We are Making a Statement podcast, and we are about breaking the stigma. We do that through having unfiltered, unscripted, unedited, and uncensored, sometimes uneducated conversations. And we're about breaking the stigma. We talk about anything. And tonight we've got a brand new conversation with a brand new guest in our hot seat. His name is Matt Shepherd. He is currently in the running for elections, the Opportunity Party in Wairarapa.
Yep.
And then on top of that, he's previously worked in the career space of being a Navy personnel and formerly a teacher.
Yep.
So that's quite a life, and you've got a lot of backstory. I'd love to hear it, bro, but welcome to the Making a Statement podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me on here.
Cool. And what are you kind of wanting to talk to us about?
Well, a little bit about myself, a little bit about Opportunity, and yeah, just have some cool conversation as well.
Cool.
Do you want to know something cool?
Yeah.
Trev's always grateful for opportunity.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
So
Every week.
you pay attention, listen close, Cuzzy. We kick off with a mental health check-in. So that's just where you at out of 10 for the week that we've had. So what would you say? Where you at?
This week I think about 7. Yeah, I've had some ups and downs. Got a therapy appointment booked for Thursday actually, just to check in haven't been in for a few months. So I thought might be a good one.
Yeah, is that something that's kind of been a pre-existing or a long-lasting situation?
I went through a pretty dark spot about 3 years ago. Actually just around COVID and after COVID and stuff. And I've been pretty good since then, but every now and then I just think it's good to check in and make sure that I'm in a good place.
That's massive. Are you happy to dive into that a little bit further a bit later on?
Yeah, I don't mind going into it a little bit, yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll come back to that one. Cuzzy Trev, where are you at out of 10?
I would say I'm pretty high right now. I think probably a 9.
Nice. It's been pretty consistent up there for you lately too, Kaz. That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just because, like last podcast, when that's going to come out, it's already come out.
Yep.
I've got my new DJ decks now,
Nice.
so that's cool. I've got a gig this Saturday.
At a wedding?
Yeah, at a wedding.
And next week, Saturday, at the wrestling?
Yep.
We got you
Awesome.
back to back.
What else?
You mean last week? The podcast comes out.
Oh, yeah. Don't get your,
I'm just doing Ethan
don't
maths
get your
here.
Ethan maths involved, please.
What else? Work's been pretty good. Yeah, that's about it. Just pretty good week.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to hear, Cuzzy. And
Might I just add something? If we were super famous, Trev would have got clipped just then, because he was saying about how high he is right now.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm super high right now.
Yeah. Just casually plug that one, eh, Trev?
Yeah. Anyways, what are you
I
gonna
don't condone drugs. I don't do drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. Stay in school.
say? Mm-hmm.
Dear. What's that stand for again?
I don't know.
Dear. Remember, it's like a
Nope,
kids drugs thing.
I don't remember.
Can you fax that, please, Trev? Fact check. Matt, before we jump into Brother E and where he's at, Loaded T-Bar, you have tried one of these before?
No, I never even heard of them before, you guys.
Yeah, cool. And that's cool when we're able to show new people new things. But yeah, what's your flavour and what do you think? We call this true review. So out of 10, where are you at with it?
Stabbing my leg.
With this, probably 5.
5?
I think you're right. It would definitely be better colder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Brother E broke the ice
That's
machine.
my fault. Hey, I didn't break nothing.
But you were just saying it's my fault.
I
So let's
just,
stick
you
to
know,
that.
you know what? I turned it on, and then I'm just chilling there for like 45 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, I should probably go and check the ice, and there's no ice in it, and I was like, it sounds like it's working. Just looking around. It looks like it's working, but there's no ice, so I don't know what's going on.
Sounds like it's not working.
It's not working.
Ain't you a fridging?
Yeah, but I couldn't really be bothered looking into that when I look at fridges all day. So it's sitting on my bench looking at me.
Fit it into your cool comfort solutions.
I don't have any time. I'm literally work 7 days a week.
I'll pay you
all the time.
$2 to fix it.
I'd
There
rather
you go.
just,
Now it's a job.
I'd rather just keep looking at it on my bench top.
I do that with things. That's all right. So you're out of 5. That's cool. It's got no ice, and we gave the heads up. Full transparency. We have no ice. Brother E broke the ice machine, so we are doing what
Look
we
at what
can
he's
with what we
done.
got.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. So this is just like the kids' ice teddy block. Yeah, there we go. And it's just dipped in there, trying to get some extra cool conditioning on that. But mine's grape as it always is. But yeah, thank you for coming on and trying that, bro. True reviews. That was an honest review. Not many people put it that low. I'm gonna say it's because you don't have the ice, but
I'd try it again. Like, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't even try it again. But I think if I had ice, I'd definitely try that again.
cool. That's good. Well, that's good enough. And Kazi Trev, you don't have one, eh? You've got a hot chocolate.
Yes, I got a hot chocolate.
We're getting that winter blues, Kazi Trev, and Brother E. What do you got? Cup of tea?
I got a cup of tea.
A hot cup of tea? Yeah, hot
It's
cup
my
of...
nighttime routine at the moment.
Yeah, that's cute. And how are you? Where are you at? Busy.
Yes, busy. I was sick last week, and I whacked the top of my head on a vat tap. So like, would they open and close that vat?
All on
Oh,
the floor,
fuck's
vat tap. Give me some
I knew you were gonna do
more,
something
vat tap.
about that. But yeah, I was walking with my head down trying to find the screw, and I walked straight into the top of my head with it, and it like cut my head open.
That's the worst.
But then like,
It cut your head open. You're bleeding out the head.
and then like a couple days later, so the first day afterwards it was a little bit sore, but I wasn't at work. I was sick. Then the day after, I was like, oh, I'll go to work. I feel a little bit better, but I was like getting real bad headaches. And then my vision was real blurry and stuff, and I was trying to look at computers. So I was like, I should probably go home. And I went home, and then I slept quite a long time, and then woke up the next day and felt semi-okay. So I was like, oh, I won't go to the doctors. But if I woke up and I still had headaches and stuff, I'd probably go get checked out. But
So do you think you had a concussion?
Maybe just like a minor one. Probably nothing like real bad. Like I've had concussions before, and it wasn't that bad, but it was like the headaches were pretty bad.
Yeah, I did myself over. I had the Holden boot open, and it's got that little metal lock latch. and I was doing something and I just went straight up and banged it on that soft part of the top of the head, bro.
That's what I hit.
And I was just fucking dazed. I was dizzy and like groggy.
Yeah, I
and,
dropped a knee. That's how bad I hit it.
Yeah, and I felt that headachy, like not right, and I feel like that's probably that concussion vibe.
But yeah, anyways, work's good. Obviously working 2 jobs. My business is starting to take off a little bit more. So yeah, I'm just juggling up my options at the moment, trying to figure out what to do.
What exactly is your business? Sorry.
So I work. I'm a refrigeration tech, so I work like full time doing agricultural refrigeration, so dairy farms, like the vats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then my business is kind of all grounds of refrigeration, air conditioning. So I cover heat pumps, which is just like residential. I do commercial stuff, cool rooms, freezers, ventilation, that sort of thing. So yeah, I started stepping into that because it was our quiet season, and it kind of just picking up, and I don't really have enough time to get it all done after hours like I was.
Yeah.
So I'm either, I would say in the next month or two, I shouldn't really be talking about it too much on here because I haven't even made a decision yet, but I don't really care. Life's too short to worry about it. So
YOLO.
So like, yeah, so I, at the moment it's either I cut back and go to like a couple days a week and then have a split week, or talk about contracting or something like that to the business, and just because it's real quiet for a long period of the year, and then through sort of September to even March, it's really, really busy in the agricultural side. So I did think about like taking from the quiet period and just doing my business and then contracting back to them in the busy periods. But it's a discussion that I need to have. So yeah, like I say.
So if you're listening, Ethan's boss,
Yeah.
he needs to have a chat with you about his hours, right?
I am, but he's away this week, so I would have talked to him by the time this came out anyways. So,
Right. That's
yeah. And now this kind of also put it on me that I have to, because if I don't...
You heard it here first, Ethan's boss.
Yeah, so... Yeah, just one of those things, eh? Just trying to get to the next stage in life, and it's kind of been a plan for a little while now, so I didn't expect to kick it into motion for at least 4 or 5 years, and then when we went through the quiet period, I just jumped at it, so yeah, here we are.
You jumped at it. Shit's picking up quick. You got a van. He's got a van. It's all sign written. Shout out Care Design for helping the bro out.
Hard out.
Massive contribution to the community here in Foxton. So if you're down at Main Street, go check out Care Design. Very lovely owners and great shop to go to. But yeah, bro's doing great. He only launched it a couple months ago, eh?
Yeah, well, I've had the name and stuff since we were down south. And then I only started... I only re-brought it out, like a month and a half ago, I think.
Yeah.
But
so to have as much bookings and busyness as you do, that's a solid effort already, and it just shows to where the progress could lead to.
I haven't even like done half of the things I've planned yet either. I've kind of just made a couple of Facebook posts and put a couple of flyers out.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but
I've seen your posters up because I've been putting the posters up for the wrestling event and that. So when I go put one up on a notice board, like I put mine under yours. So I did that at the Foursquare and I did that at the Grumpy's.
Yeah, I did walking around, and I did. I saw your one at where was it? Was it like this $2 shop by the Triangle Dairy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Triangle.
The one in between the Triangle Dairy and Delish.
No, it's at the Triangle Dairy, I think.
Is it in between Delish and that though? There's that little variety shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did one there too, and he's like, he had seen the podcast, so he knew who I was. So and he's like, "We've got your other poster up over here." I was like, "Oh, crack up!" Crack up.
That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, 8.5. I'm good.
Nice. I'm sitting at about an 8. I think I'll probably sit higher. It's we're celebrating. Well, I don't know if the word's celebrating. It is celebrating her memory, celebrating her life. But my grandmother passed away a year ago tomorrow. So over the weekend we came together as a family and did our thing. Had a good
way
night.
Too many drinks.
I had a fair few.
I don't really drink that often, and
I think in the end I had about 9 beers. 9 beers and some of those fireballs.
I was jaded on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was not good. That's why I don't drink anymore. Well, barely drink anymore.
Finn was jaded too. But yeah, so obviously it's a touchy time.
Yeah.
When thinking of the memory, I've had some moments and some sads, but also it's good to think and celebrate and relive and family get together. That's always good. But outside of that too, moving the podcast to a fortnightly schedule, like my days are so more free. Like I've got so much time that I didn't have, but I've like made progress on my album. I've committed Warrior to, and that's something we could talk about.
Rugby.
Signing up to the rugby. So my boy, he's 4, and his girls, so they're 3 and 7, 6. They've all just joined the Fox and Rugby team. So we're taking them to rugby every Saturday morning now.
Very cool.
We've done that the last 2 weekends, but my son's first game was this weekend. That's just been.
That's Ripper now, right?
Ripper, yeah. And it was cool. And
he did really well for someone who's not barely even watched rugby before.
He's never done a training, so I'm just hoping that by the time he gets some trainings and that it will start to all like make sense and come together.
Oh, my first ever rugby game, I still remember it because I got given the ball and I was running it. I managed to get over the line and then I threw the ball down.
A lot of kids were doing that.
I had no idea you were supposed to put it down.
A lot of kids were doing that.
My dad was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's that NFL vibe.
Yeah. A lot of kids were doing that on the weekend. They're just so eager to get it there that they almost get to the line and they just throw it at the line.
Yeah, the team's like 3 to 5 year olds, so that some of them are running backwards to their own try line, some of them are running out, and it doesn't matter how much time you say that line's the lava, they're gapping it. They're going to the other fucking field.
It's crack up.
Yeah. And the other thing I've been doing all my time is every fortnight I've been going up to Wanganui and training with River City Pro Wrestling. That's been a venture, bro. Anybody that says wrestling is fake can come in the ring and take a bump because it's not fake, bro. Like the scripting aspect to it, of course, is fake. There's an announced or planned winner, but man, the body, the grind, the heart, the hustle, the heart that you have to have, the discipline, the athleticism, the energy to go, and they do trainings 2 nights a week. The actual wrestlers at the school. I'm just going once a fortnight because it's in Wanganui. If a petrol didn't cost what petrol costs, I'll probably go maybe weekly and But yeah, I'm going up every fortnight, and we're starting off with a half an hour cardio session, like endurance, running the bags and putting bags over our shoulders and running medicine balls and throwing them up and grabbing the ropes and going handy and jumping on the exercise and grabbing the weight plates, and we're doing these hard out like exercises. And then it's like in the ring and you're running the ropes, and even that hurts, your back's hitting the back, like this tight rope, and it's straight across your spine, and I'm coming back with bruises and like whiplash and just marks and scratches, and you're having to throw yourself on the mat and like learn how to take what they call a bump. And so you're like spreading your impact across your arm so it distributes it, so it's not all concentrated on the back of your body. And then you got to like tuck your head so you don't get the concussion by knocking on the floor. And the ground is just hard. Like it's not a trampoline. So man, it is grueling. It's actually handy. But I look forward to it. I look forward to the challenge, and I look forward to the cardio because I'm back at the gym and that, but I don't have time to do like 4 hours class workouts like that. So
taking a chair yet?
No, but look,
that'd be hectic.
I would. The rule that I've kind of put in place with anything we're doing is I'll take it as long as I get to give it. And so that's what we did. Like I did get inducted, and it was basically they put me up against the turnbuckle and everybody at the school did the chops on my fucking bare chest. And that hurt. That was ruthless.
That was funny.
That hurt. But I went and done it back to every one of them. And, they're like, would you take a slap, like a full-on slap? Yep, cool, but I've got to get a receipt. I've got to slap them back somehow. Like, as long as I get to do it back, I'm good. But in saying that, been training, but there's a doofus that came in like last podcast, stole the rangatahi jar. So we don't have our jar here tonight. All right. So if you're watching this, last night would have been the Fox and Fallout event. And myself and Raygun will be getting head to head, toe to toe in that ring. And you'll probably have to stay tuned to my Facebook pages to see what happened. So, Fox and Fallout, you'll probably see some clips coming very soon off the back end of this podcast so you can see what happened for yourself when we got our retribution. And Cuzzy DJ TJ will be there holding it down on the 1s and 2s and that too. So I hope people in the local community showed up and showed love. It's the first time we've been able to do something like this locally and bring wrestling to Foxton's community. It's never been here before. So it's a massive step in the right direction. And we're already making the plans and planting the seeds to bring them back for the Awahou Minifest this year, 2026, November 29th. So
that's what I was about to plug.
Where?
Because I was gonna say you've also got more time to do Minifest stuff.
Yeah, so we're already balls deep in the Minifest. Do you have any idea what that is, bro?
No idea.
Cool, I'll fill you in. So for the last 2 years, I've put on this event in Foxton called the Awahou Minifest. Essentially, it's been about a day giving back and the creative arts being the forefront or the focus of it. So naturally for me as an artist, I'm a hip hop artist, music is a creative art that gets showcased. So I've been a performer. We've brought performers around, the motu actually really coming around and jumping on the stage. And we also tap into our local artists. So a variety, we've got bands, singers, we've had dancers come through. But then last year we kind of expanded it and showcased more variety of the arts.
Yep.
So we had martial arts come through, and the karate club did a kata display, and kapahaka came through, school kapahaka groups. We had the church choir come through, and they done a performance and things. So yeah, really just opening the lid on the idea of arts and allowing that to be displayed and showcased.
What sort of size crowds do you get?
Wow, so the first year was already a success from the jump. Like, we had a decent turnout. We had, I could say, hundreds come through for the day. Last year, we'll probably put the number up at the high hundreds, near 1,000 for the amount of foot traffic I had from start to finish. We just have it in the heart of Foxtons Township, right by our Anzac Parade Tower. And we get the barber involved, so he's got a shop right there on that area. So we've had the hairdressers come through and collaborate with our barber, and we do free haircuts for the kids. So they get free haircuts. Last year we did 500 sausages, and we gave them all away. They were all free. So we got rid of all 500 of them between.
I think it was early.
Between 10 and 12, bro. So the event ran from 9 till 1, and in that 2-hour gap, we got rid of 500 sausages. And yeah, it's just whatever else we can really do to give back. We had prizes giveaways. We had a lot of activities. We had More FM come through, and they did like a radio broadcast from the event and games. We could throw the sack at the things, and we had arts and crafts tables. We had food challenges, who could eat the most eggs in a certain amount of time.
Hot sauce.
We had the hot sauce challenges. We shot a section of my music video with all the crowd and stuff like that. So yeah, we had a massive event last year, and this year we're doing it all over again. So I'm trying to just build it and turn it into an annual event in Foxton every year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of leading into that Christmas period too, November 29th, last Sunday of the year. So it's kind of almost a cross theme, early Christmas. So we had the Grinch come through last year and give lollies to the kids and all that kind of stuff as well. So we sung Feliz Navidad as a community.
That was funny.
Yeah. So it was really cool. And I've already got the foundation laid for this year. And I've already got the Horowhenua Community Council behind the idea. So I got the grant through the Creative Communities scheme. So that's massive. We've got a budget there. And I also just got approved another grant through the medieval market. So shout out to anybody in those spaces that might be listening, because at the bottom of the grant was PS, we love the podcast.
Oh,
So
cool.
there was a message in that email. So yeah, no, massive that we've got this budget, and we've got the support to now be able to kickstart an even bigger event for this year to keep the snowball effect going and hopefully turn it into something that becomes massive. So that's an initiative that we're leading here, and the boys right here are the ones helping me make that come to fruition as well. Ethan generally becomes my right hand man and helps do XYZ leading into and on the day. And Cuzzy Trev will be DJing the event, and we run the podcast live at the event as well now too. That was something we did last year and we'll bring back. So that way everybody that's there gets a chance to come up and have a quick chat, and yeah, just something unique.
I love community events like that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see like the amount of people that believe in it alongside me, including these boys. So yeah, it's massive.
People love coming together, and you're giving them an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I hope the free is the aspect that I really like. We had face painting in that too, but like I just like the free concept that people aren't out of pocket going to this. It's literally the foundation of it is just bringing people together, and then the arts aspect being at the forefront, getting showcased and displayed at the top of that. So yeah, that's what we're building towards. So if you're listening, if you're tuned in, if you're out there, and you may know or want to be somebody that wants to get a part of it, please reach out. We are in need of sponsors. We're in need of supporters.
I wonder if Live in the Movement would get some girls, some classes to come and dance at the event. I just thought about it.
Yeah.
My mind just went boof.
Our Rangatahija,
Yeah.
last year, the funds that we raised through it, we sponsored a dance what is it called?
Live in the movement.
The movement. It's a dance school for young kids.
True.
Adults dance there too.
Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but we sponsored a kids group.
We just sponsored the full company,
Oh, okay.
full business.
Yeah,
Nice.
so he just planted a seed. We should reach out and get them to come do a dance act. That makes sense, bro.
Mm.
I'll leave
Oh,
that
just-
with you.
yeah.
Sounds good. We run into the hot topic, bro. You haven't written one yet, but you will.
Mhm.
Before you head off, it will be a one-liner,
Mm-hmm.
a sentence, a question, a topic, whatever it might be. We pull it out of the box. We talk about it openly, and it's previous guests generally. Whatever we're pulling out of this box this time will be somebody who sat in the seat before. Just like in the future, your one will come out in an episode to come. So, what do we have today, Kazi DJ TJ?
Sort of curious, eh?
And before we jump into it, I want to remind anybody and everybody, if you are tuned in, that we are uncensored, unfiltered, unscripted, and unedited. So
Why
whatever
is-
this is,
Nothing
He
will
looks
get me in trouble,
worried
will it?
because he looks like
mindful.
he's already he already knows what it is.
be
Okay.
wary, and if that is not your cup of tea, tune out. What we
I'm
got?
worried because this was from Raygun's episode.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine getting it the week after. It's got no.
What is it?
I don't know, but he's sick-minded. It's got to be something weird.
Interesting. Anything that will get me in trouble, will it? For the party?
If it's something that can get you in trouble, just don't discuss it. We'll just discuss it on your behalf.
No, this,
Is it all right?
Is it tame?
this is just very confusing. Most superheroes are actually bad guys. I don't know if that's just a statement or a question.
Is it?
I think it's a statement because he just has full stop.
Okay, that sounds like a statement. I guess
Sorry,
we're gonna-
read it again. My mind.
It's an opinion.
Most
So,
superheroes are actually bad guys.
I can actually sort of get behind part of that because you've heard of like Batman, right?
yeah.
And I've always actually liked Batman.
Me
But
too.
I heard an argument recently about him. Like, he's just this rich guy that beats up poor people. And we're meant to root for him, right?
Yeah. But he's doing vigilante work.
Yeah.
And there's definitely room for that. But
Even vigilante work is technically naughty.
Well, some people need vigilantes on them.
They do, yeah, I facts. But I don't know. What's your thoughts? What are you a superhero kind of guy?
I don't know. Maybe when I was a kid and not anymore. But
You, Matt?
I'm a big fan of superhero stuff.
What, like
Yeah.
Marvel, DC, all that
Yeah.
kind of vibe?
I've always been a big DC fan. I like Superman. I like Batman.
I always
like
liked Batman.
Yeah.
Like I always dressed up as Batman. Everyone was Superman or Spider-Man, or I was always Batman. every time.
I'm still a sucker for it now. I love
Batman.
the heroic side of it, fighting evil and triumph of good in the end of it. After a struggle, I'm a sucker for that
So
stuff.
you more like the animes or like the comics or like the actual like real movie theater kind of movie
All
ones?
of them. I've read quite a lot of comics. Seemingly, I like the ones that no one else does. I was a big fan of the New 52, which was like this phase of DC that everyone hated. I like the old the Justice League ones, like Superman, Zack Snyder's stuff, which again is like the least popular part of the DC movies. But I just generally like most superhero movies.
Mm.
I think it's just cool.
What
That's
about
cool.
you?
What?
You watch anything?
I've
I've never
I don't
been
know. I
into it.
used to watch like the common films, like the Dark Knight and Avengers and that sort of stuff. But like, it's not something that like I will be like avidly excited, like, oh my gosh, the new movie's coming out. But like when it comes out, I'll be like, I'm probably gonna watch it because it's likely gonna be a good movie. Like they're pretty good at pulling things together. The storylines I like most of the storylines. I agree with your perspective on the how it comes out at the end and they end up winning and stuff. But it is cliche. Like you kind of know that that's going to happen. Oh no, the world's going to end, but no, it's not going to end.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry. It's just, they can't end it like that. It just won't happen. Maybe if it was like the end of the trilogies or whatever you'd call them or whatever. But
Did you watch Endgame, Infinity War? Because they're having that movie where everything ended badly, and then having a decade of story where they eventually had it resolve.
Yeah, well, that was one of the movies that I was like, how the fuck have they ended it like that?
Yeah.
And then I didn't watch the next one
Oh,
because I was like, why did they end it this way? It doesn't make sense. That's what I mean. You don't end it bad normally. So I was
But
like, oh, that must be the end
if
of it.
it's only one part and you know there's another one coming, that's how they're going to bait you in to stay tuned, I guess.
Mm.
But What did you think? I know this one had a lot of debate around it. Black Adam, when The Rock did that.
Oh, see, I sort of checked out by then. The DC movies I really liked up until Justice League, and then all the ones that came out afterwards, I was just like, there, yeah. So I actually stopped. I didn't watch Black Adam. I saw all the push for it, and I sort of went off. What's his name? The Rock. Like all his movies are sort of the same, and he turned Black Adam from an anti-hero, almost a villain, into sort of like a good guy, and it was like, yeah, I wasn't super interested.
Do you think they kind of did that with Venom?
Yeah, to some degree. I don't know. I haven't read the Venom comics, so I can't say I'm a true fan of Venom, but I wasn't sure.
I like the movies.
I like them. I like the soundtrack.
I'm hungry.
I like the soundtracks. But
Tom Hardy's great, isn't he?
Yeah, man, he's such a good actor. I love that movie.
A comic throwback that I'm having is that is it Asterix and Onyx?
Oh, Obelix.
Obelix. Yeah. Is that what it's called? Asterix and Obelix?
Obelisk. It's a French thing, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Just as we were talking about comics and cartoons, and that's the one that threw back to me in my mind at the moment.
It's ringing a bell, but I would have to see it to know.
Yeah, it's old as. So let's pull it back, bro. How did you live a life that led to landing in the Navy?
Well, to be honest, I went to high school. High school wasn't really for me.
What school did you go to?
Hutt Valley High.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Parents even moved. We were originally going to go to. I went to Nana Intermediate, and it was a great school.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't want me to go to Nana College at
It's
the time.
the hood, eh?
They had a bad sort of reputation. I think it's got better since then. But so we moved to go to Hutt Valley High. But I have still to this day not checked my level 3 NCA year 13 results, because I always had this theory like I neither passed nor failed. It's Schrodinger's exam results. You heard of Schrodinger's cat?
No.
Oh, it's this thought experiment that there's a cat in a box with a whole bunch of sciencey stuff, and that's neither alive nor dead, because you don't know until you open the box.
Right.
But you could assume.
You could assume, but there's no way to know, because it's in the possibility is exactly 50-50 or whatever.
Right. But unless it was going to directly affect you, it doesn't really matter, does it? And if it doesn't directly affect you and you don't need to know, why would you want to find out bad news?
Exactly.
Are you telling me, hold on, you set your year 13 exams and you never looked at the results?
Yep, never once.
You never know to this day what those results were. You just done it and then left it.
Yeah. So went into the Navy because, I got into uni on adult admittance, because once you're over 24, they don't even look at your high school results.
Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, most people don't.
Right, because you need like the level 3 credits and which they're getting rid of NCA, aren't they?
Yeah, but whatever they replace it, you'll still need university entrance if you're going in at 18.
Yeah.
But the idea is once you're an adult, what happened at high school shouldn't really be super relevant. Like, you should be mature and there to learn and all that sort of thing.
So then you should just be able to just go to uni anyways then, because you're going to be able to go in a couple of years.
I think they're trying to wean out the piss takers.
Yeah.
There's still going to be piss takers. There's always going to be piss takers. You can't. There's going to be piss takers.
Imagine
in work
how much
uni
more
and
there would be, though.
I think there'd be less. By
People
the time you get to like 24, 25, people have realised that maybe that's not for them.
Yeah,
but people still get UE and then go just to do it, just to go and get on the piss, to get like, what is it?
Live the student
E-commerce or whatever
life.
the fuck it is.
Yeah,
like go and
life.
study that just so they can go live the student life. But that's taking the piss. They still got into it. I mean, there could be people that just don't directly need to be in school.
I'll tell you what, it would buff up your CV.
What?
If you've got your level 3s, it looks better on a CV.
I don't know.
Your UEs and stuff like that.
I don't.
Do you even put your high school stuff on CVs now?
You used to.
I'm
I don't.
32. I wouldn't even bother putting it on my CV.
All I have to do is put qualified refrigeration engineer on there, and I get the job.
Yeah,
It could just be my name and that, and that's it. Because it's that hard to get fridges.
I'm talking from the perspective of somebody. I get CVs because I'm a hiring. I run a department.
You get some outrageous CVs.
Of course. But as CVs are coming in, that's just obviously something that's usually a part of the CV.
Are they usually younger though?
No. I'll definitely say there's still people that stand on that as a qualification, and it's generally incorporated into their body of the CV.
I guess in terms of being in like an administrative role or something like that, it'd probably be more beneficial to have your level 1,
But
2,
that's
3.
what I was going to say as well, because it's actually advertised on the role in a office-based position, like what somebody will be coming into my department doing, is generally saying on the roll that, like, NCA level 3, this and that, maybe under the preferred whatever, there's the what people should have inclusive. So that's probably why I see a lot of it come through on the CVs that I'm looking at, maybe.
Well, I think people would assume that I have level 3 simply because I've got a bachelor's degree. So, because that's higher, right? So
you've
I
got this
level 4,
massive
5,
degree.
whatever.
Is that the teaching?
Yeah, teaching degree.
Oh, yeah.
So that's Bachelor of Arts, I think they call it. And I've never paid much attention to the lingo. So technically, I've got level 3 because by default, but high school.
Oh, well, one other thing, just on the topic of what we're talking about, I actually seen recently that National is scrapping the free university fee aspect to it. What was that? Was it first year
Fees
paid?
free first year,
Yeah. So then,
Is that on everything?
it was
Tertiary?
meant to be
Tertiary,
expanded tertiary first time. If it was a first time in higher education, you would have had your first year paid, and Labor's original plan, I think, was to expand it to year 2, year 3.
right, but it was first year tertiary is covered, the fee.
Just move your mic a little bit closer again. Right, sorry.
Yep.
Because I got fees free when I did my apprenticeship.
Yep.
Might be because of
It
that.
did cover tradies as well and stuff.
Yeah.
So Nationals just scrapped that. As of
Why?
last week, they announced it.
Why would they scrap that? But it's
Because probably the people that are taking the piss. There's probably the people that are, I'm going to go do this, and it's getting paid for by the government, and then they just don't go commit themselves. They don't do anything with the qualification. I'm imagining that's probably what it has something to do with. But you're in the electoral kind of world and space. I'm going to open some conversation up to hear your thoughts on politics too, by the way.
To be honest, I suspect there's a financial element involved.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to look at it and go, we don't think this is making money. That's probably their argument.
And it's a big budget cut. They save a lot of money on the back end.
So they can potentially use it for something that might look better in the news or whatever.
But then then we don't have enough tradies and whatnot out there because there's not enough opportunities to get apprentices on because it costs a shitload of money to get apprentices in.
Yeah.
So then businesses aren't going to look to bring on apprentices because they're going to have to front all the costs for the training. And then we're not going to have enough tradesmen, and all of our, like, especially fridgies, we've got a generation of fridgies that are moving out now. They're all retiring, and there's not enough of us coming through the trades. So, like, I don't know. Like, there probably is a decent amount, but not enough to cover the basis of work that we've got. So, and with that happening, I know that there's a lot of business owners that won't be bringing on new apprentices. Like, it just because they can't afford to pay the fees. It's fucking expensive. It's like, I don't even know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year. Plus, when you go on a block course, the only block courses you can do are in Auckland. So you have to pay for travel, accommodation while they're away for the whole week. Oh, no, it's 2 weeks the first year, 3 weeks the second, 3 weeks the third. And then 2 block courses for electrical as well.
Yeah.
And it's a shitload of money that they have to fork out to put apprentices in.
But Jacinda only brought this in, I think, Like, it was only recent that was actually introduced. So they'll just revert to doing whatever they were doing beforehand.
Recent, that's
Like,
a while ago, isn't it?
Last
It was
term.
after 2017, 2018, I think, because I tried to get it. I didn't qualify because I got my I've got a London City and Guilds certificate, so that's a chefing qualification from the UK, which I got funded when I was in the Navy, and they counted that. So when I went to uni, I had to pay it myself.
It wasn't first year for you.
No, it wasn't technically first year. Like, it's not recognised New Zealand qualification, but it's recognised in the culinary world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much was uni? Do you mind if I ask?
No, I don't. Yeah. I just paid off my student loan.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Bucky.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was. So I'm expecting technically a small pay rise in the next thing because I won't have to pay that anymore.
Yeah.
But it was $21,000 over the 3 years, and I also got $1,000 in course-related costs that I used to buy a new laptop because I spilled water all over mine.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the student fee, the student loan, is there interest on that? I can't remember.
No.
There isn't.
Unless you go overseas for more than, don't quote me on this, but I think it's six months or something, 3 months.
Right.
Whatever, you have to go to Aussie, or if you go there too long, or Aussie maybe doesn't count, but if you go overseas for too long, then it will start to accrue interest.
Until you come back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I did like a year at UCO. I did a security course because I was trying to prep for the police back then, and I remember at that time I chucked so much I could at that loan just so I didn't have that carrying me down like every fucking paycheck going forward. But so there, massive that you got that back in your back pocket.
Great
That feel
feeling.
good. So you go through schooling. You don't, or you do. You commit yourself to the schooling in terms of you set your last year's exams. So you never looked at the results of them. You leave school. You go into the Navy. How was that?
So I was 17. I didn't really have any plans. And then I found out that they offered the City and Guilds. They stopped offering it since then. But I was like, maybe this is a way to learn to cook and maybe, earn a bit of money in that. And I was like, screw it. So I applied, and I got an acceptance. And so I got on the plane to Devonport in January the 30th or something.
Where's Devonport?
In Auckland.
So why was your qualification a UK based qual if you got it through the New Zealand Navy?
It's a good question in that phrasing. I think it's just because it's an internationally recognised chefing qualification, and it was like something that the New Zealand Navy offered, or the New Zealand Defence Force offered to make chefing attractive, and to go, you come here, we'll give you this great qualification, which they do for other trades as well. And this was to encourage people to stick around. I think one of the reasons they got rid of it was because it made it so that people wouldn't stick around. They'd also leave because they've got this great qualification.
Yeah. So were you kind of in the Navy and that was the role you played whilst you were there as that chefing?
Well, the Navy, you never have one role. You have a lot of roles. So I was standing sea emergency party, which is like firefighting. So you have to... standing sea emergency party, yeah. So firefighting, I'd have to... If there was a fire alarm or we did a drill or something, I'd have to suit up in a full BA and firefighting suit and rush to the scene and simulate the fire. And we also did SMET, which is the Ship's Medical Emergency Team. So we all learned like advanced first aid. And yeah, you do that sort of thing on top of it. Luckily, I got out of bridge watches because I hated bridge watches.
Bridge watches?
Bridge watches.
Oh, bridge.
When you get to go up to the bridge and sit there and look out the window or whatever.
What are you
check
watching?
all the dials or watching everything. It's not going to go wrong.
I'd fall asleep.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to. You get charged for that.
I know. My friend fell asleep at basic training when he was in the field.
Oh, no.
He was doing like the night watch stuff.
Oh, no.
And he fell asleep and he woke up and the whole crew was standing with their guns around him, like pointing at him, just everyone.
To shit on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got on, what is it? It's like fines or something like that, and he had to like scrub toilets with toothbrushes and shit like that for like a week.
Yep. We have similar things in the Navy.
Yeah.
I went on the belt for 3 days, which is a fancy belt, and that because I didn't shave once.
Fancy belt.
I got a $300 fine, and I had to march around the base and everything. Because I wasn't fined for not shaving. I was fined for not following a written order. Because it was a written order to make sure you were clean shaven every morning by 0800 or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're pretty strict on that sort of thing.
Yeah. So what time were you getting up there?
Sorry?
What time would you have to wake up?
It depends. I mean, on ship, if I was starting a breakfast shift, I'd be up at 5 or so to make sure I could have everything ready for the crew before when they come through for breakfast. But other days I might sleep in if I was off watch or something.
Yeah. And how long were you a part of the Navy?
I did 6 years.
6 years. Wow.
Yeah. No, it was a really good time. I mean, I love doing it, and I think it's a great thing to be able to do. I'm also glad I'm out, though. Mm-hmm. It wasn't ultimately for me, I think.
Is that living, like the role was like you were up there living on the base?
Eventually you can move out, and I did eventually get a flat, and I think that really helped because it's a bit insular living on base. You're never sort of away from the Navy. But you also get lots of friends and relationships and people that you sort of connect to. So, yeah.
Is it kind of like a big school camp? Like is it like lodge rooms and
a school camp where people will scream at you and make you do extra physical activity if you get things wrong, but yeah.
I mean, school camp.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. They don't do it anymore.
I imagine that the more the times evolve, the more PG environments like that will get because people late complaints.
Man.
But that's how the people complain.
I know, but fucking
I had to scrub it with a toilet brush.
Do you know what? You're in the fucking military. That's what you got to do, man. You have to follow strict orders because if you don't, you might end up with your fucking head shot off.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like they train you like that because you need to be able to follow rules
people
under
are too sensitive.
pressure, under everything. It does. Yeah, they are too fucking sensitive. Don't join then if you can't handle it.
It's
Simple as
finding a
that.
balance, because some of it did start to border on abuse and cruelty, or it
Yeah.
could be taken that way. So there's I think when I was going through, they were going through this like a period of adaptation where they're trying to come up with a more modern way of still bringing out the best of people and bringing out strong and healthy and capable recruits that are capable of dealing with shit hitting the fan. So there was a lot of grumbling behind the scenes about some things being too easy and other people, that sort of thing. But
Be a hard thing to balance because everybody, there is a lot of people that go in there prepared, like, sweet, I'm probably going to get yelled at if I don't do this right and this right. But then there'll be people in there that are like, oh, he's yelling at me. You know what I mean?
Nancy Pansies.
And then it's kind of hard to wean out. But then I think like if you're going in as like anything to do with infantry, anything like those types of roles, you should be getting drilled.
You can't be a
I
soft
think
guy.
you
You're
have to be
definitely
able to.
I'm sure they're still definitely
If there's
doing
someone
that,
that's like, if you're going in to be like some kind of admin role in the Navy, or what does Navy do basic training?
Yeah.
So if you're going in to do something like that, I mean, you're gonna get yelled at in the office if you're not following orders or something like that. But
I'm sure that
it's not as like, I don't think it should be as hectic. But then it's kind of hard to then separate everyone because everyone's training together, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm not in the military, so I can't tell them what they should and shouldn't do. But I think if you're going into something like that, you better be prepared to get fucking drilled because that's just what it is.
I'm sure they still do drill.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't get rid of it. You'll still be marching around. You'll still have to do pointless tasks that are difficult and annoying. And in the middle of the night, you'll be running out to make your bed to carry your mattresses down, everything down to the courtyard and make your bed out there and report next to it. All that stuff will still happen. The busy work, the keeping you tired and making you deal with stress. Like, I don't think that stuff's gone. I just think some of the old hands, they went through it way harder, and now it's not as hard. But finding the balance, I don't know what that should be, but the stress testing and that, I don't think they're going to get rid of that. They need it. You're right. They absolutely need it.
Yeah, because when I was, how old was I? 18, 19? I was going to join the army. My granddad spent 40-something years.
Wow.
Did Vietnam, that sort of thing. So I always wanted to join, and I still kind of have this deep down regret that I didn't. It was only because I fell into this trade that I didn't end up joining. But that was one thing, like even if I didn't join the army, I wish I could just go and do the basic training just for that, just to tell myself I could do it, just to be able to say I can get through it. Because I want to go through something that hectic. Like, I wish I
apply
could
for SAS if you wanted to. I mean, anyone can apply for SAS.
But I have 3 kids and a wife. I can't do military life. I just can't.
You wouldn't get through it, but you could apply for it. And if you got into the course, you could go through hell for as many days as you could handle it.
Is that what they
So
do?
that you can experience it.
Yeah. I mean, because SAS was opened up to anyone. There was a big controversy when they opened it up to women to take it. But it's SAS is...
So it's like Marine training almost.
Effective. Well, yeah, New Zealand Special Air Service. They're the best at what they do. And they're the most amazing people. When you met them in Navy base every now and then, these guys are so humble, but they are like so capable. They're the best of the best, and they go through some intense training. I don't even know all the stuff they go through, but you just hear rumors and stuff. They're our special service, and they're recognized internationally as at what they do is really good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's strange
I'd like to.
they're taking.
I don't think I could just walk on there and do it.
You have to go through the stuff.
Yeah,
But you're talking like a day in the life, kind of like go and just see.
More than just a day though. I'd like to do like a week at basic training. I'd like to do the full 16, but you know what I mean? Like, I always just had it in my mind, like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I just wanted to.
I've always felt like
the
that
train.
with Wipeout when I watched them run the fucking obstacle course on Wipeout. I feel like I could do it.
I wish I could do Wipeout.
I've always seen I'm like, I could jump over that flying fist of a bloody inflatable.
I don't think I could. Not the big balls.
But it's
I'd be
similar.
done
I
on the
So you
think.
have to convince yourself you can do it so you can be confident going through it?
Yeah.
I suppose, but it looks like it's set up to make you fail so that people can laugh at you on TV.
yeah.
So it's like,
What about like American Ninja Warrior? You know that
Yeah, those are
challenges?
cool.
Yeah.
I reckon I could get on with that. That seems a bit more getter.
But see, I bet you there's kind of things like that in like the military kind of space as well, where they'll put people through challenges, like Biggest Loser and
But
stuff.
they do
used
like
to do things like that.
We do have a course
The
like
courses.
that.
They do the courses and stuff.
Whangaparoa has a course like, well, I wouldn't say exactly the same as American Ninja Warrior. It's all wood and ropes, but you're doing the tire thing and you're going under the netting and you're going up and climbing a wall and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Is it just like a physical and you get a qual stamp at the end of it?
No, it's about teamwork. They want you to do it with a group of people, and you got to get a whole group over a really high wall. So you've got to boost people up, and someone's got to then hold, and you've got to get the little people have to help, and the big people have to help.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah, because I did police recruitment. I got through to the college, and that was, had PATs, PCTs, which is the obstacle courses. You got to run over this and do that beam and jump through this window and pull this dummy and push that trailer and run with that tire and all that. And that was a cool experience in itself, but the team aspect to it would be quite neat. Maybe, planting seeds, these are little things that maybe we could go out and try and do one day.
It'd be fun.
Like
bring
the
do
cameras.
boot camps and stuff
Bring the
like that.
cameras
I don't
and
think it'd
vlog
be
it.
very similar to that. Yeah.
I mean, maybe the Navy should offer an experience course. You pay a little bit of money and they take you up there and they put you through basic for a few weeks.
Yeah,
just
that would be
for
cool.
fun.
I would do it. I would pay to
Honestly,
do it. That'd be so
insane.
much fun.
It would be like how people go and tackle like
You're
an
sitting there like,
Ironman.
nah, bro, I went for it. You won't think it's fun when you're there.
It's not just the physical.
I'll pay for the extra grilling. Fucking ream me, man.
I went through basic with an ex-Royal Marine, so he'd gone through way worse training than us physically. But he got really frustrated at the Navy training because he said it wasn't just the physical side; it was the fuckery of like ironing your clothes. Like,
Oh, yeah, no, I ain't doing that. I ain't going on no course
Really?
where I've got to iron the clothes.
gotta,
I
like,
hate doing that.
everything perfect. Everything has to be folded in exactly the right way with no creases in the wrong places and stuff. And it's frustrating as fuck.
Is that a skill set that you've like now acquired? So if you have to iron anything, you're
Well,
not
you
the man?
have to.
I clinically hate ironing now.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can
he
do
doesn't
it.
have to now because he's not. in the
I
Navy.
don't. I look at. I'm sure some of my old Navy like chiefs and stuff would look at me walking down the street and look, say, you scruffy. You're not ironing your clothes anymore, and it's like, oh god.
I just watched a TV series called Boots. It's about a recruit in the Marines and stuff. And I always watch army, military movies, and so I'm obsessed with them. I've always been obsessed with them. But yeah, I just watched this one of he's gay, he's homosexual, and it's illegal to be gay in the Marines.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's real life, but that's what it was stating on the movie.
I think it might still be in the US. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah.
Yeah, so his friend wanted to join the Marines and was like, we're going, it's like this buddy thing, and he like took him on. He had to pretend not to be gay the whole time he was in the Marines. It was a real good show. Like, I really enjoyed it. I wish they kept doing it, but obviously it ended. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I just
You found a new TV series.
yeah, it was
and wanted to
cool. I
plug
know.
it.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, I don't
Okay.
know.
Pulling it back yourself, was there any times where you're doing these drills and stuff like that you had to do them in a real circumstance?
Like, did I ever go on an actual deployment?
Yeah, well, you said, you had to chuck all the fire gear on and then go and be able to present and do this if there was a fire and there was a drill. And then, you had to do this and you didn't like doing this bridge watch. But was there any like real circumstance?
In terms of, I never had to fight a real fire, though we do have training simulations for it, like the real fires that we can fight at the training school. Same with the medical. I didn't have anything serious. I was deployed on the old Manawatu, not the one that sunk, the new one that replaced it. I was on the old one, and we did. I was on like body recoveries and stuff. So I was on the cooking, obviously, but I was working with the dive team, and they're a really competent group of people. I think some of them have big heads, but they deserve it because they can talk the talk and walk the walk. So we had to go and recover bodies, and that was a bit more of that was the only real serious deployment I did, other than a fisheries patrol around Antarctica.
Oh, okay.
Which is trying to prevent illegal fishing of the toothfish, which is apparently worth quite a bit of money. So we're just sailing around and driving off fishing ships that are fishing illegally.
So
Sure.
what would you do to determine if they were or not?
I was never in a position to be able to do that, but I think that we had like an intelligence team that would look at them and contact them and find out. And because I think they have to fly country flags, and so they'd probably get in touch with certain people and verify their information and all that sort of thing.
Did you raid any ships?
We did boardings, yes. Well, obviously a team did boardings, the gunnery team. Yeah,
Cool.
I want to be on that team.
yeah,
The gunnery.
yeah.
I was going to be a combat engineer. That's what I wanted to be.
Well, the interesting thing about the Navy is they don't do a lot of the fun stuff. Like the gunnery team, yeah, they get to do all the shooting and learning the guns, but they also do the most painting.
The most painting. What are they painting?
Yeah, chipping and painting the ships, repainting it,
Oh,
protecting the
true.
ship. Yeah, like they do all the stuff that I personally hate. Like a lot of them love it, all the knots and you've got to be out there and tie the ship up alongside and all that sort of thing. They're the ones doing most of the watches. So if you can handle the tedious stuff as well, the stuff I think is tedious,
Then you get the reward of doing
then
the
you
cool
get
stuff.
the cool stuff as
I
well.
think I'd like to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you probably would actually. I can see you fitting in that role.
like hand-to-hand training and shotguns
Yeah.
and stuff. And we all get trained on
Yeah.
the IW stire, so I could break down a stire and clean it and put it back together and all that sort of thing.
True.
Yeah,
But you've
That's
never had
cool.
to use it.
no, just outside of training.
Yeah. The body recoveries, is that just like working alongside the police, or is that on like a
No, New Zealand dive team, they'd go down and pull them up. Yeah,
from what, like missing persons?
yeah, we I don't know any details I should go into, so I don't want to discuss anything too serious or talk about real people. But yeah, we get basically there might be someone identified, and I think there is a connection to the police, or someone's gone missing in this area, you know, and they'll go down and they'll look in that area and they'll find it. It was really interesting because during a training exercise, I actually dropped my phone off the side. I got in trouble because I wasn't supposed to be using it. But I think more for fun, the dive team tried to find it, and they asked me a whole lot of questions about, you know, when you dropped it, how did it fall in the water, and did it go like down? Did it go down like this? Did it do this? And they were to sort of determine where it was, and they found my phone. It was pretty crazy, and it's not an easy thing to find. It's a small little phone of that had travelled some distance away from the ship. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of bodies of water are you in doing these? Like the ocean? Or
Yeah, around New Zealand. Yeah.
like around the coast when people like get swept out to sea? Is that the kind of vibe?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. It's around New Zealand. I mean, we do travel around the world, but most of the stuff where we do things like body recovery will be within New Zealand waters. Because I think, assuming if it was in Australia, the Australian Navy would do it.
Yeah.
So do you travel from Auckland all the way? So say something happened in Christchurch, you'd take this ship from Auckland all the way down to
It would
Christchurch?
depend on what was happening. So
Right.
sometimes, I think often you'd be in the area, or they might have something planned and you'd go to it. You might be going on a deployment. We used to have quite a lot of IPVs. The Navy is understaffed at the moment. They're trying to get more recruits, so a lot of our ships aren't active as much as they could be or should be. But they'll be patrolling around the country, ships around the world, doing different things.
Yeah.
And what would they be patrolling for?
Illegal entries potentially, illegal fishing. A lot of them, they sometimes have like a MPI person or something come on board to help. They'll board fishing ships and check them and stuff like that, and just otherwise support the coast, I suppose, and just people out there if a ship goes missing or calls it Mayday or something, you've got a ship there to go and help them out.
And are you talking like, is there cases where like there's like people illegally migrating, trying to like come over with their own waka from like Aussie and just
Potentially, I don't really know if
motivate
that's
it?
a big issue here. We're a bit remote, and Australia sort of is a protection there. They have to usually go past Australia to get here, so I think we don't deal with much of that. More like drugs will get dropped off and stuff at sea, but yeah, and I'm not an expert in this area. Like I was in the kitchen, so
yeah.
most of what I know is just secondhand through conversation. So don't quote me on.
But you
any
would
of
have
this.
also been out on the ships
Yeah.
as they're doing these missions, right?
Yeah.
So as things were happening, you would have been in the know.
Yeah, to some degree. Like
Yeah.
we have clearance levels and stuff.
Right.
So I had a secret clearance at one point, the lowest one, so I could know the basic stuff. Yeah.
And was there any kind of, I guess, talks or scenarios that were given in terms of if there was a war, what would happen and where you would go and what that looks like? Or was there any alarm bells or close calls?
Not while I was in. There was one day, and I think it might have been even our CEO that sort of pranked us, because a thing was put on in the junior rates the mess, and it was a broadcast, and it was like NATO, and it started off real tame, and you're checking it throughout the day, and you'd see this like news was progressing, and it was like, and then all of a sudden they start getting serious, like missiles fired and war broke out and everything, and you're like, because you've got no phone connection or anything. You're like, shit, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And it turned out it was a fake
Like-
video, but it was a whole thing. I couldn't believe how like detailed it was.
Was that a drill in a sense?
No,
Like,
it wasn't even a drill.
it was just like, haha, gotcha.
Yeah, I think someone just might have been some senior or leading hand or something would have just like, let's just mess with some people and put it on the TV. And yeah.
True. So in your mind, was that something, you know, I'm going into the Navy.
Yeah.
First thing you think is, you know, wars and stuff like that. Was that in the back of your mind at all going into that space?
I think so. I mean, the New Zealand Navy's not super active militarily. We do join in some deployments and stuff, but there hasn't been any major, like, you know, World War II level conflicts for a long time.
Until now.
Well, yeah. So it's always you're always aware that you could potentially be deployed, and I like to think that I was prepared to do that. And I would have done it. But I'm also glad that we didn't get deployed, because I didn't actually want to have to fight militarily.
Yeah, but it's a mental thing in itself, like having to come to terms with the reality of the idea that this is a potentially thing that could happen. Yeah. Would you say the New Zealand Navy, because I just think about like what's going on around the world, and you've got like all these navies doing the blockade in Iran, the Strait of Hormuz, all the warships and these carriers and that, and I think about the New Zealand Navy, and I feel like it's very minimal and inferior to the rest of the world's navies.
I certainly wouldn't say inferior. We've got like some really great and competent people in roles across the Navy, and they're really good at what they do. But I think it's the key thing is to not think about the New Zealand Navy as a standalone. Think of us as part of the Australian military if you're thinking of global conflict. Like our Anzacs, so Te Mana and Te Kaha, both warships, they are effectively organised as part of the Australian fleet, so surrounding HMAS Canberra and Adelaide, which are their big helo carriers. So Te Mana and Te Kaha can slot into those, I forgot the word for it, like groups. If they went to war, we wouldn't go to war with just our two ships by themselves. We would join in an alliance with who are their other allies, and we train to fit in with the Australian Navy. So that's how you wouldn't view us as, because if you just looked at our Navy, we're quite small, but we have a lot of skills and capabilities. Like we have our Endeavour, which is our big tanker, and we've got Canterbury, this big multi-role vessel, which does a whole lot of stuff, and we go around the Pacific and help places out. So yeah, does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. So at the same time, is Australia there obviously committed in the same regard to then have all of their support be here if that was a necessary cause?
Yeah, potentially. I don't know the defined details of it, but I think you'd assume like to get to us they'd have to go past Australia for the most part.
Right.
So it would be pretty hard for military ships or even submarines usually to get here without going around Australia first and getting noticed on the way. Because otherwise you'd be coming from Antarctica or something. Like it could happen, but yeah, not sure.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it's just obviously we don't have the firepower to keep up with the bigger economies and the bigger countries and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I like what you said too, and that does make sense. What would you say are some of the rules that were tedious when you were in the Navy, and maybe which stuff stuck with you?
I'm a big one on like cleanliness in the kitchen. I used to be frustrated with it when I first started because I was like, we clean too much. But going out into civilian world, and you say civvy world, I'm honestly shocked at how unclean some places can be. Like one thing that drives me absolutely bonkers is when I go into like the bathroom at a restaurant or something, and the chef's in there in like their chefing cap and apron. Like they never leave the galley. When you leave the galley, you take your apron and hat off because they're the hygiene barrier as well. So you never take that into the bathroom. Tables, like we clean our tables with spray because that cleans them. But you go into a restaurant, sticky tables and like so all that stuff and handover, like not just for cooking, but I love actually that when you hand over, and I used to hate it. Still part of me hates it, but you have to have everything perfect because you can't leave the galley until the oncoming chef has approved it. So you're all the same rank usually, or might be even a leading hand. and I was like an able rate at the time, so they're the rank above me. The leading hand couldn't leave the kitchen until I said that the kitchen was clean, because once I say the kitchen's clean, I'm now responsible for the kitchen.
Yeah.
So if they haven't cleaned something properly, or if I haven't cleaned something properly, they're taking responsibility for it, and it's their mess. If the chief comes in and sees that this is a shit fight, which is one of our Navy slang, they're going to get in trouble, not me. So it's the same as on the bridge. You know, you formally hand over because it's that clear, definitive handing over of responsibility. And I've sort of done that. That's part of what I do now. And I love it. I respect it. I hate it as well, because it means that I have to make sure I do a good job, and I don't always get that back, because that's not how most people think.
Yeah, correct. That's not their mindset. They're not thinking of it on the same standard that you are.
But I like it as well, because to me it is a good standard, and I can respect people that do that as well.
What about the clean shaven? You get a bulk of that. Obviously, you got a mow going on, but the rest looks pretty clean.
Once a week. I shave once a week now, so I shave every Sunday before I start the week. So I get stubble, grow for the week.
I kind of do the same. I kind of do a Sunday night for the most part.
Yeah.
Making the bed, is all those kind of drills?
No. I make a point of never making my bed, because I hate making it, for one thing, but two, the others, I read that you actually meant to leave it open so that it can air out during the day, because, you know, you bacteria and sweat during the night.
They say that about your balls as well.
Walk around with your balls.
Well, facts.
What a great non sequitur.
Facts.
What?
They do.
Well,
do you know why I don't like making the bed?
why?
Because I don't like being in tight bed sheets.
I hate
and it's
that.
gonna get messy as soon as I get back into it. And who the hell is looking in my bedroom?
Yeah.
Just leave the bed. I'm gonna pull the blanket up and then
See,
I'm asleep in 2 minutes and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I can't get to sleep like that at all. But also, I hate getting into the bed and it's crinkled and crumbs in it.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
anything like that.
I don't eat in the bed.
So frustrating. Oh no, you can't eat. Oh, I eat in the bed, but I eat to the side. I eat like my biscuits with my cup of tea. Oh, the other night, me and I had we got red kiwi fruit. Have you tried red kiwi fruit?
No, I've never even heard of that.
I've heard
So
of
we
it,
had-
but never tried it.
We had like, do you know like the containers you can get for like with plums, the little plastic container?
Yeah,
we had
yeah,
like
yeah.
one of those. Just cut them all. I ate the whole entire thing of kiwi fruit. I had the shits the next day. It was so nice. I just didn't even think about it.
Yeah, well, kiwi fruit's what they recommend at the doctor when you're
Yeah.
a bit stuck up down there and your
Yeah.
plumbing's blocked, because it's real good fibre.
So it probably
But
did
it
a
was
good
so
job.
yum,
It probably, like, you needed
but
it.
not good.
Got the old poop shoot sort of.
Just terrible. I don't know why I went down that track. I must be tired ass. I'm like talking, and I'm like, where was I going with this?
You ate kiwi fruit. That was the moral of the story, I think. And you flushed your systems out. So how did you come to the decision to leave the Navy?
That wasn't necessarily. I don't feel like I made that decision. One night I was browsing online. I was doom scrolling effectively before doom scrolling was a thing, and I came across a website for this thing called Explorasia. And I was like,
This sounds dodgy.
Yeah, well, it didn't seem. It was legitimate enough that I was like, oh yeah, and I put my email in and my phone number, and I was like, I sort of forgot about it. And then 2 weeks later, I was actually at work, and it was just before dinner service, so we had a bit of a break, and I got a phone call from this lady saying, you know, hey, we got your application. Are you keen to go overseas and teach? You know, because that's what it was for, teaching overseas, teach English. You didn't need any qualifications or anything. And I was like, yeah, okay, tell me about it. And she talks about it all and the price and everything. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then she's like, okay, well, let's do it now. Let's commit, you know, rush into it. And I was like, wait, can I think about it? And she's like, oh, would I just put you through to my next team? And it goes from this really attractive sounding woman to this really like tough sounding dude. And he's like, you got to do it now, or it's like, you know, miss out. And they, you know, it's the worst thing about
This sounds
scams.
like a marketing.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Like it.
You got did
Technically, I got did in a good way, because
it worked out.
it's legit. It was legit. It cost more than it needed to.
Why was it costing you if you were doing work for them?
Well, so they're not actually, they're the ones that get you in touch. So basically, they get their money by acting as glorified middlemen.
They're brokering.
Yeah, they're brokering. So basically, you pay a lot to them, and then they don't spend as much of it on you as you'd think. Because I was like, I'll book my own flights. And, oh no, you shouldn't do that. and I was a bit young, and I sort of didn't like conflict, so I just was like, I went along with it, and I was like, fuck
Here's
it.
my money.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to like.
I'll come work
argue.
for you. Here's my money.
So they did it all. I paid the money, and
How much did you pay?
all up, not counting flights, I think it ended up costing me like 1,400 or something.
Well, that's not too bad.
Well, it's maybe, did that include flights? I'm trying to remember back to 2017 now, so it's a while back. But
Where'd you go exactly?
Thailand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that I've been to Thailand, bro.
Yeah.
And I went through Flight Centre, though. And it was actually outside of flights for myself. For like, I only stayed there for 12, 13 nights.
Yeah.
But that was only like $1,300.
Yeah.
How long did you go for?
2 years.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's a lot longer than I went.
Oh, sorry. Explore Asia was the it was the Global Work and Travel Company. That's the one I wouldn't suggest. You should, if you want to go teach overseas, and I could plug
Bro,
them.
Global Work and Travel
Yeah.
Company.
Yeah.
I think I got did by them.
Yeah.
Global Work and Travel. Is that who Sonia ended up going through?
Yeah.
But all I'm thinking about is if you weren't going for political stuff, I'd have a lot of questions for you for living in Thailand for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not going to say it because it could get you cancelled.
He can speak on his 2 years in Thailand.
I can take some of it. But the
Massages.
I just want to clarify because I don't want to dob the good guys in. Explore Asia was actually an amazing company. They're the ones that trained me, and like they do a training course and then they help you find jobs in Thailand. They're the ones that Explore Asia, that Global Work and Travel got us in contact with. So I absolutely reach out to Explore Asia if you want to do that because they're fantastic. But no, Thailand was a fantastic time, and I fucking loved it so much.
Lady boys.
God,
There's a lot of
I
them.
do
You
have
see any?
some great stories, but some of them I definitely can't say.
Where were you in Thailand?
I was in a little town called Nake. It's in Nakhon Phanom on the border of Isan.
Don't know any of those places.
Yeah,
Were you there for the whole 2 years?
Yes. So I started in Horowhenua, which was where we did our training, which is a nice big city, sort of between Bangkok and Phuket.
Okay.
Okay, I know those places.
Yeah.
Phuket's where I went to.
Yeah, that's where most people go. But I went basically to rural Thailand. When I first arrived, I was walking down the street and like little kids would stop and like look at you going like, that's a white person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it scary?
It was a little bit, but I was also excited. Like I had some good contacts and I wasn't like alone. There's a cool guy that I was mates with that from the course that was just the town over. So we met up regularly while I was there. It was such an amazing experience.
It's a whole nother world too, eh? Like I've been to Australia. I lived in Sydney for a bit. And living in Aussie is just like almost like living in New Zealand. It's a very similar culture and economy and lifestyle and surroundings. It's just browner because the grass is all dead.
Yeah.
But Thailand, you get off and you there. It's a completely different environment, eh? Like the nature looks different. The jungles, the animals, the sounds, the smells. It smells like shit. Like facts, bro. It does. And like the people, the way they live. It's just all different.
Oh yeah. I mean, where I was, it was very different to like the touristy places like Phuket. Like this is more authentic Thailand, so the people aren't sort of, I think,
Acclimatized to outsiders.
tourists. Yeah, they aren't as used to it, but they are so lovely, like so welcoming. Everyone just wants to get to know you, to like include you in things. I mean, I've walked down and they take so many photos. They love taking photos. But I can't recommend it enough. Like Thailand, I love that they're so patient, and they love respect and they love people that are really, really polite. Because I went to get my visa done, so I had to cross into Laos. And it's funny because you go over the bridge, and then halfway across the bridge, the bus swaps to the other side of the road. Because Thailand drives on the same side as us, but Laos drives on the other side of the road.
Oh, so they cross a bridge and now his road rules switch up.
The road rules, so the bus literally crosses halfway. But we get to the thing, and I'm waiting in line, and the guy in front of me is like being sort of rude, and he's like, I need to get to go quickly and hurry up and everything. And I'm just waiting behind him, and then I get up to the counter, and I'm like, sawati kap, and they give my stuff, and a kopkon kap, thank you. I'm really patient, and I get seen like straight away, and that guy he just doesn't get seen. So that they will respond so well to people that are respectful and patient, because Thai time is when they feel like it. They're relaxed and they're chill, and I just think it's an amazing culture.
Their food's amazing, eh?
Bro,
Their food is like,
so
and like everything's
good.
got like cashew nuts in it, and
Yeah.
there's prawns, and it's just
Yeah.
amazing, and so affordable too. Like you
Oh,
go out over there,
it's
3-course
insane.
meal, it's like $20 total.
Oh, Thai food is so good.
It's really good. Yeah, I love the people, the culture, and that as well. Was there anything you didn't like about living over there?
What didn't I like? I didn't like actually the way they dealt with mental health. I had a student who was in a really bad place. She was super depressed, isolated, because Thai culture is really community based. And I think she'd had some issues with her family. She's living with her grandmother, and she drew some like amazing art, but some of it was super messed up. And she was talking about like harming herself and stuff, and it was hard enough with the language barrier. But I had to like fight through the school to do something about it, because talking about mental health over there is quite shameful. You don't want to bring that shame on your family. And that's not necessarily everywhere, but especially I think more rural areas.
Yeah.
Eventually I had a teacher who sort of supported me and helped me get to force some movement there. And I'd like to think that some, because I think she finally got to see a therapist,
Cool.
which took a bit. I think the grandmother was real hesitant because she was really old fashioned, but it looks like some progress was made, but they're really hard on that.
Yeah. What age were the groups of like kids you were doing the English teaching to?
Over there it was high school, so I taught from 13 to 17, 18.
Okay, and you said you didn't need, like you got this through just going online and applying on Google, so you didn't need the background of qualifications and...
No, so I had a waiver from the Teaching Council of Thailand. They prefer degrees, and if you want to go over there, it's best to have a degree of some sort. It doesn't need to be a teaching degree, but officially you do need one, but you can get waivers if you've got connections. That's what Explore Asia is really good at. They know people on the council, they can talk to them, and that's how I got it. So they do give you a training in TESOL. So I did get a TESOL certificate.
Are they doing like before school checks and stuff like that with, outsiders coming into their schooling systems?
Yep. And it was a nightmare to get their one when I came back here, because I'd lived over there for 2 years. I had to get the Thai one. So I had my friend in Thailand have to send all the information in and post me the certificate saying, I had done nothing to cause trouble to the peace of Thailand while I was living there and stuff.
Yeah.
But they do all that background checks and safety and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, I can imagine like, the world hasn't maybe developed at the same pace in terms of like the culture and the society around the acceptance of the likes of mental health and stuff like that, because it's been like a very rapid become to the forefront to be understood and acknowledged. But like when I was younger, even just when I was a kid, that wasn't so much of a conversation. It wasn't really, it was just always that harden up mentality.
Yep.
It wasn't a mental health and a look after, your brain therapies, all that kind of shit. So I imagine they're kind of maybe behind us in that regard.
Yeah, they're definitely slightly behind in mental health, I think.
Is there anything else that they are behind in their schooling systems? And is there anything that you may think is more advanced and that we should apply in our schooling systems here?
The answer to that question is sort of the same. They're more advanced and behind in education in so many different ways. Like, I'll tell you a story, right? So I was at this school for 2 years. I saw the kids, I got to know them, and I was amazed at how competent they were and how much trust was put in them. So give me a scenario and you tell me what you think. So would you trust a large group, let's say 10 kids from, name a high school in New Zealand, right?
Manawatu College.
Okay, 10 kids from there to be set up a table just near the front gate, inside the school grounds, where they were given the school's quarterly finances in hard cash, okay, unsupervised by an adult, to count it, unsupervised, and to do it properly, to do it a good job, thorough job, count it, sort it out, make sure it's all there, check the finances, and then give it back to the staff, unsupervised.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would work in any school in New Zealand?
No.
They did that over there.
And there was no issues with it though.
There's no issues with it.
Well, is there disciplinary kind of processes a bit more extreme than ours?
Not really. It was just the expectation. It was just the trust. It was just the culture. These kids, I don't think and these are poor. They're not the super wealthy kids. Like that money, like thousands of baht, would have made a huge difference in their lives.
I mean, that's the case for majority of the families over there. It's third world, like they are kind of struggling, aren't they, in that economy? And for the most part, a lot of those people in society are on the lower end.
To some degree. Like there is the whole inflation thing. So the fact that because prices are so much cheaper, most of them have cell phones. Most of them have like their houses. They have good quality food. So the way we measure poverty wouldn't look the same. Like one of our measures of poverty is heating. Heating's not a problem over there.
What do they have over there for heating?
Because it's hot. They don't need it.
You turn the aircon on, and if you open the windows to cool the house down, it gets hotter.
Yeah.
If you need a heat pump, call Solutions.
Thailand, he comes, pay his travel.
Yeah. So that's their culture is just so different, and poverty. I don't like saying that they're a poor country because they're just different. I think is probably the best way to put it. I'd go back there in a heartbeat. Especially if I was a bit older and I was ready to sort of move on. But there's some things I wanted to do here. It's actually why I came back from Thailand, because I was like, I love teaching over there so much that I wasn't going to go back to the Navy. That was my original plan. And I was like, I want to give back to New Zealand now. I want to do what I'm doing over here back in New Zealand. So that's why I applied to unis and came back here and studied teaching.
Right.
That's how I ended up leaving Thailand. But it's such an amazing place.
Yeah, and to have 2 years there, that's a big, massive life experience, because I only had 2 weeks. One of the crazy things, you're talking about trust, that's how the road rules seem to be. Hey, like, I was going, you go anywhere in the tuk-tuk or on the car or wherever you're going, and you come to a roundabout and everyone just squeezes and goes when they can, and you're rocking around moped, 4 kids off the back, no helmets.
Yeah,
like,
the family doing the ironing on the back of the moped.
Or the bloody power lines look like cobwebs and they're sparking, and then they just go over to it with their wooden ladders and then their hands and start just fixing it.
Yeah. I drove a scooter in my town, and I drove it between towns in the rural places. But in Bangkok, there's no way you'd ever catch me driving a vehicle, because
it's crazy.
It's different. You need to, like, my friend from Vietnam, she was like, in Vietnam, you have to just shut your eyes and cross and just don't pay attention to it, because that's the safest way to cross a road in Vietnam. When you got toe-to-toe vehicles, like, you just want to get across, you just got to go for it.
Yeah, and then ours is so structured, yet we have all these accidents, and you don't really hear that over. I didn't.
They still have accidents.
Of course,
I wouldn't say they're immune to it, but it's just different. And
it works for them. I wouldn't want to replicate or repeat it or be in amongst it.
Neither.
So you've made the decision. You leave Thailand. You come back to New Zealand. Is that when you go into uni?
Yeah.
And you go get yourself qualled up.
I applied over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you do a year's worth, 3 years worth.
3 years degree. Yeah.
3 years. You come out the back end of that. What kind of schooling do you go into for your teaching? What are you teaching?
So I do a primary degree. So you choose at the start if you're doing primary or high school.
Yeah.
So I decided primary. I thought it was better suited to me and the sort of person I am. I particularly like working with kids from sort of year 3, 4 to year 7, 8.
Yep.
I like the sort of conversations you can have. I like the way they think, and also like sort of just seeing the sort of things they come up with and the ideas that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were you teaching them? Is it like, if you're in a primary school, it's generally just like a general teacher, eh? Like you're the teacher of that classroom, and then you have the same class all day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what I did for 2 years. I actually moved to the middle of nowhere, New Zealand, Fox Glacier.
Fox Glacier, where's that? Is that down south?
Yeah, that's down south. That's just south of south of Hokitika. So just below Franz Josef.
Yeah.
And again, like another super unique, super amazing place. Like, it was really cool to be part of a tiny community.
How big's the population?
It fluctuates in the hundreds. It's not big. So more in summer when there's more work because of the more tourists coming through. Less in winter. So I did it throughout the year. Yeah. My school population was in my first year 12, my second year 8.
Were you the only teacher there?
Yeah, we had a teaching principal and me. I always made the joke that my first job I was a deputy principal.
Yeah, well, there's only one step up. Yeah.
I wasn't technically deputy, but it was just funny because it was so cool though, because I was teaching across the whole spectrum. So I'd have like a reading group with like a 6-year-old girl, and then I'd suddenly have 3 intermediate kids sitting in front of me. Like,
So
And,
the 12 was all age groups, the 12 students.
primary to intermediate, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Across the whole thing. After that, they have to go to a high school. So a lot of them will go boarding, or they'll catch a bus all the way up to South Westland area school, which is a bit bigger.
Did you find that the younger kids were learning relatively fast because they were around older kids?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Definitely there's a push. They mature and they think a bit more because they're interacting with different people and different levels of maturity.
Because my daughter, she's 6. So with their school, they went year 1. Then the next year after that is year 1 and 2 or year 2 and 3. And she's in the higher class because she's pretty intelligent. And I just this before, I was at hip hop and her teacher was there with her daughter. And she was telling me how Ivy's caught up to the year 3s and she's only year 2. And she's probably going to surpass them by the end of the year. And she's like talking about how she's flying through her learnings and she thinks it's helping being with the older kids because she loves learning, but she's also competitive. So she wants to know what the older kids know.
Yep.
So it's almost like pushing her. But I've also, like, in regards to the older and younger, I noticed that my younger kids are learning very fast because of their siblings.
Yep.
Like Layla learns a lot from her siblings, and I can imagine my son's going to do the exact same thing. So it's just what made me ask. So.
No, I think that's a really good observation, and I think it's correct. To a kanatena, it's literally working with across the age groups, working together, and they 100% they learn more. I think when they're working with older kids, like I had the luxury of being able to pair up I'd be like, you 14-year-old and you 5-year-old, you're going to work together on this historical project we're looking at this time, and they did, and like. Yeah, they had different understandings, but sometimes you'd be surprised, and you'd get these little ones would come up with ideas, because sometimes they couldn't even read what they were looking at, but they'd discuss it. If you got good discussion going, they'd share it, and they want to engage with the older kids in a way they don't with the teacher. So it's if you can make use of it, I think there's some great strengths to it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's massive. And so were you doing just a 2-year stint at this school for the teaching, and then you didn't do further teaching, or did you go somewhere else after?
I'm still technically teaching. I'm just not full-time teaching. So I did the 2 years in Fox. I did it as part of a thing called Better Start, which I think was Better Start or First Start or something.
I think I've heard of that.
It was a program that was basically to help get teachers into schools that are rural because it's hard to find staff. So basically I got some lump sums, which were really nice to get, to help to encourage people to move out to places like that.
Yeah, so it was like you're going to come out of your way to come to this community. We're going to help you get set up kind of thing.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have been hard for me to find a job in like Wellington, right? Because they're shorter teachers in Lower Hutt. But I was like keen to commit to somewhere. I got a permanent position out of it. I got a few allowances, like a hard to staff allowance and remote allowance and stuff. And I got to see a different part of New Zealand.
And the South Island's so beautiful.
I made friends with the guides, the tour guides there.
Nice.
So I got to go up on the glacier. I got to spend a night on the glacier, do some ice climbing. It's such a cool place. And there's a little pro tip: if you want to go on a glacier, book at Fox, not Franz. And it's not to put down Franz; the team's just as good. But their issue is their glacier is already receded too much, so they can't fly as often. So they're more likely to cancel or postpone your gliding. So if you want to do it more likely, you're better off going to Fox for now because they haven't receded as much. So you're more likely to get to go on the glacier that day.
And
Pro tip.
Is it very cold and being around that area?
Can be.
South Island's pretty cold anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the summer's really warm. Like,
surrounding
it's
the
really
glacier,
nice.
So is that the nor'wester wind for down south? Like we lived in Christchurch for a bit. In summer. Yeah, the northwest wind is hectic, like really, really hot but humid as well.
But then you got those Antarctic winds, eh?
Yeah.
It
can get pretty cold.
freezing
It can get
down
real
there.
wet. The wet season in Fox is pretty miserable because it's pretty much raining constantly for a few weeks and, well, a few months on and off. Yeah.
So you've had some pretty massive life experiences and seeing the world in a lot of different lenses, and that's really cool. That's cool that you can like kind of now summarize all that and put that into the human that you are today and what you're what your passions are and who you are and wherever you're going next is kind of all that lived experience comes along for that ride, right?
If I think about the sort of person I was before I went to Thailand, I'm very glad I went, because I think I was becoming a little bit insular and a little bit close-minded, and living in another culture and embracing it and really doing it authentically in the middle of nowhere and seeing how different people think really helped open my mind and encouraged me to step back and I think it's really helped develop like a level of empathy and understanding. It's a beautiful place, and I think if anyone gets the chance to travel and go overseas and just live in a different culture, somewhere completely different, they should jump at that chance. Doesn't matter where, just somewhere different to really see how other people think.
Yeah. I'm so glad I went to Thailand because that opened, like I said, I lived in Australia.
How long were you in Thailand?
I was only there for 13 nights, but I was there back in like 2017 or 2018. It was when the king died.
Oh, that was 2016.
Oh, it might have been then I was over there, because it was like the day after that I landed that he had died.
You would have been there for a huge event.
They were mourning and everything was all black, and then, they'd be in like praying poses at the accommodation complex and at the resort and that. And it was like just on the back end of that, they had the Loy Krathong festival.
Yeah. And
that was beautiful, bro. I speak to people about that. It was like lighting up the ocean with stars. Like, it was such a cool experience.
Yeah, I got to make the banana boats with the kids.
Yeah.
They'd all do it, and we went down to the river and put them out there. That was beautiful.
Yeah, so I did that at Carter Beach.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, I stayed at Carter Beach. I did it at Batong Beach. And all of the tourists and all of the locals all got involved, and they pretty much all went out at the dark as it hit.
That would have been me.
And they put it all out in the ocean. And think about how many people are walking those streets. And, everyone got involved. They're selling them all at the markets and stuff. And all the tourists did it and all the locals did it, bro. And it just lit up like the ocean.
Oh, there would have been so many. That, like, ours was beautiful in a small town. So I'm trying to imagine like that many people would have been pretty incredible.
Yeah, so I'm glad I got there, and I kind of, I got to experience maybe a bit more so of the culture because of the timing that I landed with the King's morning and then leading into the Loy Krathong festival.
Yeah. Bhumibol was beloved. He's still beloved. So he was the king. He served for a long time, and he was the king through a lot of big events. And people still have pictures of him in their houses and stuff. Like, it would be the dumbest thing you could do to go to Thailand and talk bad about
and disrespect.
Bhumibol.
Yeah. There was always a big thing, like, don't say nothing. And obviously, drugs back then was like death penalty, and now they've got weed shops, eh?
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I think they legalized it and then delegalized. It's all a bit weird.
Is it not legal anymore over there? I know they had the dispensaries set up, though.
Yeah, I haven't followed it recently, but I think they've gone back and forth a couple of times because they think they got too many tourists just turning up to just get high in a sort of thing.
Like, treat it like Amsterdam kind of vibe.
Yeah, I don't quote me on any of this because I'm not up to date with it. But yeah, it's a bit. I think it's changed a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I remember it had just when I was over there, it was like, don't let anybody near anything, because if they slip this onto you, you're done. You're fucked. And even like tuk-tuks and stuff like that. You got the bewares, all that kind of stuff. But then not long after I left is when the dispensaries and everything popped up everywhere. So what would you say you've taken away from Thailand, like you did with the Navy?
Patience and understanding, and like I'm a lot more calm and take more time to think, where I didn't maybe necessarily wasn't as like that beforehand.
You definitely develop patience and understanding, being a language barrier, eh? So now you're having to work with a different culture and their language.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I got back to English speaking, I think I was at just a random coffee shop in Australia, and I bought my coffee, and then I was like, kopkun cut.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, you don't even know what I'm doing, because it was just a habit.
Yeah.
You become part of the experience, and you do it the way the Thai people do, and that's how you get the respect, and that's how you become part of it. So I learned a bit of Thai. Like, I learned enough to get by. It's all sort of melted away. I don't really use it, so I think it would come back if I went over there, but I could communicate a little bit. And it was funny, like I would try to say some sentences in Thai to my kids, and they'd all start clapping and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah. It's like a party trick now.
Yeah. Oh, the one time I messed up something. What did I do? I got something wrong in the class, and I went to the kids and I apologized to them, and they went ballistic because teachers don't apologize to students in Thailand. So I was like I was kōtodka, I was saying sorry to them, or I messed up, and they all stood up and like, no, teacher, stop, no. They didn't want an apology from a teacher because it was like, it's not how it's done over there. I always thought when you make a mistake, you should apologize. So it was like a weird thing for me.
Yeah, but those morals that are instilled in them are the reason why you can put them in front of the school with all the cash and they don't touch it.
Yeah. High respect. Like, I mean, I've had parents in New Zealand lose their tempers and get quite verbal with me, and that happens every now and then to teachers, sometimes in the community. But over there, parents would see you and they would be bowing to you because that you're the teacher. It's an honored profession in Thailand.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I think teachers isn't an honored profession.
So your current role, you're working part-time as a teacher?
So I'm doing relieving.
Right.
So I'm trying to work as much as I can. I'm trying to get as much work across. Well, I was trying to work across New Zealand. I'm working at like 30 different schools in the heart, and I'm looking at work in the Wairarapa at the moment to try and relieve. I got my first day tomorrow actually in a Wairarapa school, which I'm really looking forward to.
Whereabouts?
I'm in Masterton. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be really cool.
I lived in Masterton for a bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, so I'm trying to do that, get to lots of places, because I like to see the experiences that our kids have.
Yeah.
I want to see what the school life is like for as many kids and in many places, because I'm seeing what's working well and what's not. Because I'd love to one day be in a position to inform education policy, because to me that's the foundation of a country, and all of our kids, they almost like they don't have the right to stand for themselves. They have to have adults talk for them. And I don't think that we have the best adults talking for them right now. And I'd like us to get into a position where they can sort of advocate for themselves more. And just the way things are now, to me, are not good enough.
What else would you change in the schooling system?
Where to start? That's a big question. I think we need more trust in smaller class sizes. That's my default answer.
Smaller class sizes.
I think we're putting too many kids with the teachers, mainly because there's not enough teachers, not enough classrooms, and this is the most expensive fix. No one wants to look at smaller class sizes because it's literally the most expensive thing you could possibly do.
Because they need more teachers and more classrooms.
Yeah.
And more supplies.
Yeah, exactly. So they do everything else. They spend all this money on every other possible thing. I mean, our curriculum reform, to me, has turned into a bit of a political gimmick, because we were working on it slowly. I mean, Labour had started the curriculum update, and they were consulting with schools, and it was a long process. It was going to take years. And then National got in, and they're like, let's speed it up. Like, it's not something you can really speed up, but it's like they wanted to get their curriculum in so desperately that they increased the speed and the pace of rollout of the whole curriculum, because it's not all bad. There's some great things in the new curriculum and some things that National's done. It's not fundamentally wrong, but they've just cut the whole consultation out. They're not connecting with schools. They're not connecting with parents, I think, the way they could be. They're not connecting with what's working for the kids. I mean, the worst thing I think was that they did it all at once. To me, it would have been logical for them to start with year one, new entrants, get that right, then move up to year two, and slowly change the curriculum, adapting to the needs of the children, adapting to the needs of the schools, so that by the time you get up to the higher schools and stuff, they've got this whole new updated base that you can use to inform fixing NCEA. But we just hear that NCEA is broken, and well, they're going to fix that as well at the same time, and they don't even have the funding to teach it properly. Like, we got 2 visits a year on the West Coast from the Ministry of Education. I had all of my beginner teacher training pretty much cancelled when the government changed. So all the stuff that was planned to help me improve as a teacher and all the other beginning teachers on the West Coast of the South Island, the government just canned it, and they had no plan for anything. And it took them like 9 months to finally get it going again. So I think there's a lot of rushing happening in education, and we need to slow down.
What was in this new curriculum, and when did that roll out?
It's rolling out. It's all in the process. It's still being worked on. It's not done.
Yeah.
But
what's the changes so
maths and English and the way we teach it, it's all changing. A lot of Specialized skills are moved to different age groups. The focus is what you have to teach in a year. All that's changing. And again, there's some great things in it. The history's curriculum is a controversial one because there's a lot of beliefs in what should be taught in history. For example, the focus on the New Zealand context, New Zealand history, Māori history, all that sort of thing, which I think is absolutely valuable and we should absolutely be looking at it. But there's also the look at historical context where situations have happened that we could learn from, like World War II, the rise of fascism, Adolf Hitler, all that sort of thing. It's not just about learning about Nazism. It's how did Nazism happen, right? So you have to look at a context where a fascist leader rose so that the kids can look at what causes that. What was the situation that led to the rise of fascism, right? So the history curriculum is a big one to look at. I mean, there's so many much smarter people than me commenting on the curriculum. And I want to sort of, more than anything, be a conduit for these people to look at the changes that they're talking about and sort of make that happen. Because it doesn't seem to me like that consultation is happening as well as it could be, and it's happening too quickly.
I have a pushback on that though. So my pushback being the speed in which the world is developing and how rapidly AI is taking over and how much of a role devices play in everyday life for every age group. You kind of do have to move quick in an environment that's moving so rapidly, because I feel like the curriculum's already so far behind that it hasn't adapted to what the new age and the new era of the world even is becoming.
That's a fair way to put it. My argument would be then you'd never have a curriculum though. So if we wanted to take that into account, the rapidly changing pace of the world and the use of technology in classrooms and everything, that to me is something that we need to have a curriculum that's able to adapt, and that has to be done well. So we should be looking at a curriculum that goes, yep, all right, the way kids are using devices is changing. There's a growing body of evidence that says that this is happening or this is the effect of technology on kids. I can't speak to that because there's so much out there that I don't know it all yet. But we should be getting our experts involved to go, this is how it's evolving, and the curriculum should have the mechanism to make changes where it needs to. But it should still be done well on a strong foundation.
A lot of what should be taking place as well is assessment of the curriculum used in the likes of Australia as a neighbouring country. Like, do we go and look at what they're teaching in schools and try to make sure that we're doing what we're doing and ours is, making sense?
We should definitely look at what other countries are doing.
Yeah.
Australia or often referred to as Northern Europe. A lot of countries up there, like Finland, are recognised as having an amazing school system. So there's absolutely room to learn from any other education system. See what they're doing, what's working, what isn't, and what we could bring to the New Zealand context. So yes, definitely.
My personal pet peeve is I'm in the world of finance, so I absolutely find it just disgusting how many people, and I can almost say on a daily basis, don't understand interest rates. They don't understand compound interest, default interest. They don't understand credit scores. They don't understand applications, loans. They don't understand finance in general. And that's what makes the world go around. It's all money. And it's not getting taught properly in schools. And people are coming out on the back end and they're getting a $50,000 loan to get the Flash's car, and they're paying $90,000 back, wondering why they're so far in debt, because they haven't understood that there's interest and fault fees and credit score impacts. And that is something that I think is missing very crucially from our curricula system.
Looking at interest in money is definitely something we should be included. I think National actually has brought in financial education, and a lot of schools are using things like Banker, which is it's a simulation of having a bank account. So Banker is I don't know if I'm trying to plug like a particular app, but a lot of schools use it, and I think there are other alternatives. But basically, kids get a bank account. Mm-hmm. It's all fake money, but sometimes the school has prizes or things that people can buy with it. I know one classroom I was in, the kids could buy, like, they go to break 5 minutes early and it costs them this much money. Okay. And they had jobs in the school where some of them have to, they do the bins around the school. They'd, do jobs in the classroom. This one had to water plants, and they'd apply for the job. They'd have to put a CV in, and it could get more complicated based on the age group of the kids. So financial education is definitely something we're starting to look at more, and it's definitely something we could do more of, because you're right. I mean, I didn't understand how tax brackets worked when I left high school.
Exactly.
There's a while where I thought I'd get a pay rise and I'd lose money, and we obviously that can't happen.
You just got to the next threshold.
Yeah. But a lot of people still think that. So there's definitely room to grow there.
And basics. And then that's the fundamentals of, then you move into a mortgage. You know, people don't understand that, but that's everything that we just discussed, but on the highest level, really. And then you've got people that might, by the E, starting a business, needs to know his taxes and needs to know how ACC levies work. And I feel like that kind of step is missing in our education system.
Some of it is done in high school in economics and stuff, right? But not everyone takes
Google.
those subjects.
I use Google and YouTube.
And that's where a lot of the world is going to, though. So do doctors, bro. You go to the doctor clinic and ask what's wrong with you. They Google it.
I don't use Google for that stuff.
Doctors do.
ChatGPT for that.
The
Google is always cancer.
Yeah.
It's always cancer on Google.
Well, then Google's running through Gemini now, isn't it? So it's basically their version of ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's what I say. You ask Google something. If you just go, what's 2 + 2? Now you get a whole backstory to where the bloody origins of the mathematics came from, because the ChatGPT's like chucking you an answer.
But going to your point of learning it yourself, I think that is actually part of the key here. Education to me has become too much about content specific things. Like, you're like, oh, you need to learn about money and all that. But that to me misses the point of education. Education is like this deep understanding that you can apply to things. So it's not about making sure kids know everything about everything when they leave school, because you cannot teach everything. Education is about giving them the skills and the foundation that they can then use to build and learn about the things they want to learn about. So if we teach you a foundational understanding of mathematics, where you can then say you want to learn about taxes and you need to research it yourself, you can do that and it makes sense. And you can know the right questions to ask to develop yourself. Because we can't teach every single subject perfectly. Well, there's always going to be stuff that's missed. It's about building up these kids with skills and understandings and deep thinking that they can take out into the world and apply to whatever they're interested in. And that means school needs to be this, like, I think, in a more positive experience than it is now, because that's why I come back to small classroom sizes, better relationships with kids, right? You get better relationships, you get more engagement.
More one-on-one time.
Yep. More one-on-one time. You get less behavioral problems because the kids are getting the positive one-on-one time where they're engaged in education. When a teacher sees a kid doesn't get something, they can find out what that specific thing is and help them work through it, rather than going, oh no, it's the end of this topic, we have to move on to the next one. Sorry, you 4 kids, you didn't learn it. And I'm not saying that's what teachers do, but there's a point where you sort of have to move on, because you simply cannot teach everything forever. And that's sort of what our system encourages right now. It encourages us to focus on weird specific content milestones when deep comprehension is the key. That's smaller classroom sizes is the easiest way to fix it. It's not a silver bullet, but it's the biggest thing that we could do to make the biggest impact on all New Zealand kids.
But you made a good point. You're like setting them up with the tools of being able to understand or learn themselves. So then, if you teach them how do you do this book report, they can hopefully apply that same concept and go and do their own learnings in their own fields of what interests them. So I get what you're saying there. I think there definitely needs to be more fundamentals to life. And because, then you got the talks of driving and insurances, and these things should be talked about because they are very much necessary in the world.
I just had to do insurances for the business, and it was such a headache.
Yeah,
because I know nothing about liability insurance and professional indemnity insurance and all this shit. And I was like, and she's feeding me all this stuff, and I'm like, what? I don't even know what that is. Why do I need that? And it was so frustrating to not know any of that stuff. But.
So fundamentals, I think, would be good as a core thing where it does get taught outside of an area of expertise.
Well, that's what primary school's actually sort of supposed to be. Primary school and intermediate is like the fundamentals, because when you go to high school, you're meant to go off and do all your your option subjects, the things you're choosing. You're supposed to be engaged. In theory, you go to high school and you're doing things you want to learn. It doesn't sort of, I think, work that way as much as it could, but primary school should give you the the mathematic and the writing and the reading ability that you can apply to anything else. Comprehension of what you're reading, understanding what you're reading, the ability to write and to develop the sort of language you use so that you're articulate and you can understand more complex stuff. The mathematics skills that you could then take to look at interest rates and go, oh, I understand how that works now.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't learn interest rate at school, but yeah, you take it out and you could look at it. That is the goal.
Yeah, that's that applying the concept or giving them a tool set to be able to apply it where they need to. What was I going to say? It's just lost my mind.
I don't know it.
Fucking read it. Read it for me. Just read my mind.
I can't, sorry.
That's what I was going to say. Something that I think probably needs to be introduced to schools in the era that we're in now, and as we progress and it becomes a bigger problem, is social. Like, the ability to communicate, because people nowadays, or kids are spending too much time on their phones, their devices, they're learning from YouTubes or whatever, and adults are also falling into that same trap, so they're not getting that one-on-one or that human interaction and engagement. And then, like, I spoke to somebody who was like, the police recruits that are coming through the system now, coming out of college and that, can't stand there and have eye contact and have a communication and have a civil offhand conversation with somebody because it's too awkward for them, because the ability to socialize is being lost. Now, don't you think maybe that's something that somehow needs to be incorporated or looked into to prevent an entire mass wave of humans that don't know how to talk to each other?
Social skills are and have always been a big part of education. Like, it's one of the biggest things that you get passively from school. The idea that you go to school and, you make friends and you develop relationships and you go through conflict, you have fights with friends and you date and it goes badly, and you learn a whole lot of stuff throughout primary to all the way to high school that you take out into the real world. But the problem at the moment, I think, isn't education. It's how society has not really adapted yet to social media.
Mm-hmm.
This is massive. Technology is evolving really fast. These companies that run these platforms have a lot of smart people working for them that understand human psychology, and they're using that to manipulate us into using these platforms more. And we're sort of tinkering at the edges with the rules around social media and stuff. And I mean, I don't think a flat social media ban is the right solution to me.
Which they did in Australia, right? Kids under 16, I think, or something, or under 13.
Yeah, that's a ban. Bans never really work in my view. They're saying, look, we're doing something. That's the government posturing, in my view. To me, the best solution is we need to get our own experts in and come up with ways to teach parents, adults, and kids, communities, society, ways to combat it at the same time. And this is hard for us because we don't have the ability to censure Google or, Facebook or anything like that. But we look at these big companies. A lot of it needs to come out of the States in terms of the major changes in the rules, which I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, Facebook actually just got taken to court a couple of weeks ago, and they got a guilty verdict because somebody put their mental health problems, responsibilities at the hands of YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. They got taken through court, and the judge actually ruled in this person's favor. And now that person's being granted X amount of dollars because they baited and manipulated against their mental health with the way the algorithm works. And then now there's a backlog of cases where they're all trying to hold Facebook and YouTube, etc., liable for their mental health problems.
Which is fantastic that these people are getting the support and the recognition through that particular case. But I don't think it's leading to major legislative changes preventing this in the future, or actually holding Facebook to high standards and high accountability. Facebook has so much, lobbying influence on governments that it's hard, at least for, I think, America, for the United States, for that to change quickly. There might be individual politicians and, Democrats, Republicans, I don't know, who are trying to put legislation through, but will it pass? Will it have an impact, country, national, worldwide? Will it affect us? So we need to look at, and again, I don't know what to do, but we need to be looking at like real experts on media and that sort of thing, and go, what do you say? Government will have, experts in these things who can recommend solutions to, or how do I say it right, but that could suggest ways that we might be able to protect ourselves and build up our resilience. And some of that is building up communities, better communities. I loved when I was living in Fox, going back to that I could go into the coffee shop. My coffee would be ready by the time I got to the counter because they knew me. I could be walking down the street and someone just pull over blocking the road and we just have a chat through the window of the car because we knew people. And I could stop, I go to the coffee shop and I'd go in here. I'm not just going to sit down at someone's table and join in a chat, but I could do it there because I knew the people. So we need to look at ways that we can build up communities so people aren't as vulnerable to social media. I think that is probably the best way to go.
I agree. And I think the social...
Like what you're doing with the
Minifest.
The Minifest. Like
Yeah,
that
exactly.
sort of thing countrywide in every community and even in big cities. Like I was talking to a lady who lived in the Netherlands and she said they had that in big cities. And you have small communities within the big cities. They don't all interact, but you can still have those in places like Wellington and Auckland. We've got to work out how to do that.
Yeah, so you're not just feeling like a part of the population.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, just speaking on that social aspect, watched a podcast and it was the guy who worked at Google and they put out the memo was, the next step, I guess, what the company was going to do was allow or present notifications when people got an email. And at that point, the guy voiced against how much that's going to invade everybody's life and their personal life and look at the avalanche that might follow. And then basically they ignored him, pushed him out to the side and then pushed through with it.
Yeah.
And now everything that he said as his pushback against this is why we shouldn't do that has kind of eventuated because as now nobody has, an offline time. We don't do it naturally unless you put that rule on it yourself. So in the world of politics, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're running for? And what is it that you stand on?
So I joined the Opportunity Party after the last election. I sort of decided I'm sick of talking about politics and I'm sick of looking for the sort of politicians that I want. And I was like, I'm going to reach out to Opportunity in the end because I loved the idea that they wanted to base their policies on actual evidence, scientific evidence. They wanted to make it better opportunities for all people in New Zealand. And I was like, this makes sense to me. I was always traditionally more of a Labour voter. I think I did actually vote National once right at the start. Like I thought of myself as centrist in a way because I wanted. I felt after the last election that to me Labour is lacking a real vision, inspiration. I wasn't getting that. And I sort of felt Opportunity was like this breath of fresh air. And I reached out. I started volunteering, doing door knocking, delivering flyers, and then I put my hand up for this candidacy. So I ended up becoming the candidate for the Wairarapa because it's quite close to where I am, and we already had a strong candidate in my electorate, and we didn't have someone who lived in the Wairarapa put their hand up for the area, and I was like, okay, I will do this, and it's a lot of petrol money.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to know the people that I've started going out. Had a few meetings. I'm going to be going there more and more, and it's the biggest thing that drove me to politics was the kids. I've worked with so many kids now, and I just think 1 in 10, more than 1 in 10 kids in this country live in material hardship, which is poverty. Right, 1 in 10. That if you have an average school size in New Zealand is 243 or something. That's the average. 35 of those students are in poverty. And I mean, that's just not good enough. We've got 9,000 more kids in poverty than we did 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean, and it's not a huge increase. Statistically, it's like 0.4% more or something. But it's not getting better.
Well, definitely not now as well. Economy's up to shit.
Yeah, and it's not a great time. I'm not saying that's entirely national fault. Inflation has played a big part in that.
Mm-hmm.
Poverty is defined by the inability to access fresh, nutritious food, the ability to heat your house, the ability to go to the doctor or the dentist when you need it. And these are things that all these kids don't have. And I don't see any solution to that, any long-term fix to that coming out of any major party in this country. they're tinkering, they're tapping around the edges and going, this looks good to our demographic of voters because that's what they want to hear, but they're not offering solutions that are going to have a real impact long term.
Just to clarify, opportunity, is that like a branch of government?
No, opportunity, the Opportunity Party, top.
So like, I mean, like, you know, there's National, there's Labour, there's Greens, there's the Māori, is the Opportunity.
Yep, it's a party.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
top.
would you have a seat at the table in the beehive
if we got elected?
You got elected.
We're looking for 5% of the party vote. So top, if you've heard of top.
I hadn't heard of that. What's that?
That's the party that we were. So we rebranded to Opportunity. We originally were TOP in the last 3 elections.
Yeah.
Originally founded by Gareth Morgan back in 2017.
Yeah.
Then we had Jeff Simmons, who ran in 2020, but he had the whole COVID thing and we didn't do too well in that election. And then we had Raf run in 2023 and he ran trying to get the electorate seat in ILM in Christchurch. He didn't quite make that. Because if you get an electorate seat in this country, you can bring more people in.
Yeah.
So we've gone back to focusing on party vote. We want better opportunity for everyone in New Zealand. A big tax policy is a land value tax, which is like, and that will fund a citizen's income. So, do you know what a citizen's income UBI is?
No.
The Universal Basic Income. It's this thing that's been tried around the world a little bit. The people, some towns and countries have done trials and stuff on it, but it's effectively a flat income everyone gets every week. It would replace job seeker. There wouldn't be a job seeker anymore. Every single person, every single adult over the age of 18 would get a flat $370 a week.
Is that it?
Yeah.
But you
even if you have a job?
Even if you have a job.
Oh, you just get it?
Everyone gets it.
Why?
Ours is not full UBI because it cuts off at 200k. If you're over 200k a year, you won't get it. But everyone else will get it. And basically, this is funded with a land value tax, which is basically a tax yearly on the land value, not the property value. So the house wouldn't count, just the unedited land value of your thing. So the same way rates are calculated.
I was going to say, isn't that just rates?
Rates go to councils and it's used to pay for roads and stuff. So this is to disincentivize land banking.
So is it more rates?
In a way.
I don't want that. You can keep your $370.
Wait. Because here's the kicker, right? The kicker is that 70% of New Zealanders will have more under this, right? 70%. And that's the most vulnerable 70%. And that's well over the majority. 20% of New Zealanders, that's most homeowners, like one homeowners, will be about the same. You're not going to lose money because basically what you'd pay in the extra tax, you'll get back in the citizen's income. It's only the top 10%, mostly people that own multiple homes, that will actually be paying more.
Because they'll only get 370 back.
Yeah.
But they have to cover all their properties that they hold. So they don't get it per property.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you only own one home, there's actually a calculator on a website you can use to calculate how much you'd pay, how much you'd get.
Do you know what will happen when this happens, though?
What?
People that are landlords will start putting their rent up to cover their costs.
They won't be able to because there'll be way more houses on the market, and the flood and supply means that they won't be able to charge more because there'll be cheaper options.
Why would there be
That'll
more
only work for so long,
because
you can choose however much you want for your house, and there's only so many houses per so many people. People have to live where they have to live, and then what happens is there's beneficiaries that are with WINS. If that's the only house that's available, WINS will pay whatever. If you can only get a house that's $900, WINS will pay that. Like, that's just how it works. Because when we put our house up as a rental, and then so I think we got told our market value was $520 a week or something, but to kind of be closer to break even, we needed to have it at $550. And our property management was like, oh, we'll put it up for $520. And I was like, well, I want $550 because it's closer to me. Then I'd rather just be losing money than be losing heaps of money. And they said, oh, well, we'll touch base with the person that's going to move in and see what happens. And she said, yeah, with WINS, it doesn't matter. They'll just pay whatever I tell them that it's worth. So, like, even there's a lot of people out there that are on the WINS benefit. So then
But didn't you,
put
say
the
this
prices-
would
you put-
replace WINS?
So WINS wouldn't be operating the same way under the system. I can't speak to your exact scenario. I don't know the details of that, but the understanding that I have based on what our economists have worked through, and they've done all the data, and if you want to look at the policy in detail, it's on the website. I've not memorized the whole thing. I'm still reading it myself. But the supply of housing in the country will go up. For one, anyone sitting on a property land banking at the moment with the idea that the property will go up in value will suddenly be panicking a little bit, and they're going to start to sell because they're going to want to sell early to maintain as much value. We'd expect house prices to drop slightly and then stay there for a long period of time. So if you're in like a family home and you intend to stay in it for a long time, you're going to be fine. But anyone who's buying and selling property constantly to try and make as much money off property is going to be slightly worse off.
I don't want to vote for you.
But I would say they're only worse off slightly financially, because if we give people this money, the evidence shows that they aren't going to suddenly just become bums. They're going to have the time to do other things. It's going to support them in setting up their own businesses. It's going to support them in getting out into their communities. They're going to be able to be better citizens, and that's going to help with everything else that you want to do. They can take care of their family. They can take a bit of time off to help raise their kids, when they're babies, sort of thing. All this stuff will help you long term. And if you look at things that happen like crime, right? People that get into petty crime, a lot of that will go down.
I love your positive outlook on it, but there's a lot of people out there that are pieces of shit just naturally, not because of money.
That's
So
true.
there's going to be pieces of shit that have more money to buy drugs, to do other things. There's still going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, it is. I can see the good positive outlook on it, definitely, and I like the idea of
being
able
inclusive?
or being able to help other people as well. Because like, if I had the money, I would be giving back to the community. I would love to.
Yeah.
But I don't, and the world is hard. I do see the positive outlook in it, and I also do see the people that would sit there and be like, now I've got more money. Now I can just do nothing now. Or, do you know what I mean?
Money. It's the same as job seeker, and everyone's getting it. So if
Is that what you get for job seeker? $370.
Well, that's before tax, but yeah.
Holy shit!
It's not that much.
That.
So for the people
Not even my
that just
groceries.
want job seeker, it's really not that much.
Yeah, true.
It's what it is it's giving people a safe foundation. You're stuck in a bad job, and you it's really messing with your mental health. All of a sudden you have this security blanket where you're like, I can afford to quit here and look for a new job. I'm not going to be screwed. I'm still going to be able to pay the rent for a couple of weeks.
Would be helpful for my situation.
Yeah.
If I left full time into sole traders.
And you got a staple.
benefit it
Then
would
I've
have
got
for
at least
businesses.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still definitely not enough to cover our weekly outgoings. But
Until the land tax has to be paid. And then you're fucked.
Yeah.
What's the percentage on that? Like, what's the concept for that?
It's 1.75 a year.
Percent?
Yeah.
1.75% of the total land value.
a year.
So what's that if it's a $200,000 land value?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Is that $3,500?
Say that again, sorry.
What is 1.75% of 200,000?
What is 1 point
is that what your lands were?
1.7?
1.75.
Is that what your lands were?
No, it's just a
That'd
rounded
be,
sum. It's a
I think
rounded
mine's
sum.
like
Percent of how much?
307.
200,000.
200.
I think mine's like
30.
I think mine's like 385 or something like that.
3,500
It is 3.5.
throughout. Yeah, 3,500.
Mm.
So I mean, if you're getting $370 a week,
yeah. you
So
so
can
that's
that's
better off.
three times. Can you search in 370 times 52?
I think it's any house under like 600.
What is it? 370.
370
Any
times
house under 600.
52.
Something like that. Land value 600k. I think. Don't quote me on that. I haven't finished reading the policy.
Oh, so it's capped at 600.
No.
19,240.
Finish this.
So you get 19,000 and you got to pay 3.5 back. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
pretty no debate, no brainer on my end. I wouldn't
That's
mind
what I'm
that.
saying. Like everybody in the bottom 70% of New Zealand is going to be better off. So if you don't own a property, you're 100% going to be better off. if you own a property, one property, maybe two, do the calculator, because I think you'll be surprised. Most people will be, most likely you'll be the same or better off. If you're saying it's only the people that have like really, really valuable
Or live on
prime
a
real
farm.
estate. Rural land is not included. Like farming land is not included. It's only residential.
Residential. Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I was going to say they'll get slapped hard.
Yeah.
They'd
And
hate it.
the idea is, so not just is the fact that you'll get land banking, what it encourages is higher density housing in cities, which is something that we're severely lacking. We're missing middle tier and low tier like housing, which if this tax incentivizes any developer to, instead of putting like big massive family homes, is to go, let's do a whole lot more flats that are affordable and accessible, because and that's going to give a lot of people that aren't necessarily in the family home stage of their life options. They're not going to have to go renting in a house that's ridiculous price in Wellington at the moment. Like you're paying a couple hundred a week, right?
You do see that as well. Like every time they're doing like new development areas, it's always standalone 3-4 bedroom houses all the way around. There's not very many, like say like when I lived in Christchurch, there's a lot of those like apartment complexes or like the tall, skinny houses and
Units.
stuff like that.
Unit
Units.
blocks.
They do like kainga, is it kainga or whatever it is? Or
We want
is that
more
what
of
it
that
is?
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so like that type of stuff.
And that's not to say the family home has to go away, but not everyone needs that at every stage of their life, right? Young people, especially, like if we get more young people into decent, just affordable housing, that actually frees up the market for more families to buy family homes.
Yeah, well, you're from that. You think about like Avalon Ways, like all those places. They used to have all those. Obviously, there's a lot of crime around those areas, but they had a lot of those big buildings, the complex buildings and that sort of thing there, and they've all been knocked down, and there's single houses put down there. So you've gone from sleeping 20 families to 3.
Yep. Well, that's gentrification to some degree as well, isn't it?
Right. So if that was to kind of proceed in any form, that would come with whole legislation changes with MSD and all that, right?
Yep. So MSD would probably not disappear, but it would replace most benefits in this country. So the only ones you'd still have would be certain disability benefits and stuff. So the scope of one that's going to save so much money on administration. For one, because there's no people cheating the benefit, there's no mucking around. Like at the moment, people have the benefit, they want to work, but they can actually, you could start a job and actually have less money because the job doesn't pay as much as the benefit, or you haven't got enough hours yet. So some people are disincentivized from working that want to, because the benefit will cut out immediately. When like the short-term fix of the benefit is it should scale down as your income goes up. So
that makes sense. Instead of
that's
it
how
just
it should
getting,
be.
yeah, that
Well,
makes sense.
that would be if you had a brain, but that's not how we do it.
Right.
We just cut it, and that's part of the poverty trap. That's what keeps people in poverty that don't want to be there. Because we all know about dole bludgers and the people that take advantage of the system, but they're honestly a minority. Most people don't want to be stuck on just handouts. Most people want to work. Most people want to connect to something that gives them purpose, because that's human nature.
Doesn't our unemployment levels have to kind of remain at a certain threshold for the country to kind of, isn't that a part of the economy?
That is one belief or viewpoint of the economy. One of a certain belief structure of, I think it's more like neoliberal thinking, is like if you have unemployment, then businesses don't have to pay as much, because the lower unemployment, the more businesses have to pay their employees, because then there's more competition for jobs.
Right.
So it's a philosophical thing.
Isn't it a supply and demand thing as well? Like if too many people in the country have too much money, we're not going to be able to, like that would drive
Supply and demand is certainly
infrastructure and everything else too high.
Supply and demand is certainly an issue, and it's something you if everyone got the money and splurged on the same stuff, then that particular product would spike. But if presumably people have diverse hobbies and interests, then ideally the suppliers are just going to be able to order a bit more of it. And for a country the size of New Zealand, we shouldn't see, I think, a huge amount of inflation. But you've got that money coming in. The benefit seems to outweigh the negative, because again, it's helping the people in the worst position, and that makes society better for everybody. So if you've got that baseline, then there's no need for you to potentially commit some petty crime to pay your bills. You don't need to go steal something. I don't know. It's not a great example, but
Or at the end of the day, I'm managing a team. You're as strong as your weakest link kind of concept.
Yeah.
If you look at a society aspect, it probably kind of applies in the same manner. It's just on a larger scale.
yeah, exactly. I think it does.
And so what you're talking is that kind of brings that bottom up to help the whole team overall. What else is it that you guys are advocating for?
Citizens assemblies, which is to me the biggest step in community. So you've got small communities such like Foxton, like your Minifest, and then you've like we had our town productions in Fox Glacier. So people would come from out of town to watch our local production, and every town's got cool little things that they do. Even in the heart in these big cities, they've got drama groups and all these little things. So that's local community. You've got bigger and bigger deliberative democracy, which is improving our democracy, improving the ability for people to engage with democracy, make it easier to understand. And citizens' assemblies are our way of doing that. So they did them in Ireland. So these have been done internationally and they've worked.
Is that what they do on Simpsons, like the town hall meetings?
Hey, yeah.
You could use that as a visual image.
That's facts, bro. That's a really good correlation.
That's what I was imagining.
That's exactly what they do. Just follow the town of Springfield.
Ireland has issues with real controversial topics like abortion, same-sex marriage, right? They're a hugely Catholic country. And for politicians to bring up these topics was considered, I think, like political suicide. So what they did is they eventually tried citizens' assemblies, which was where they took a slice of the population, almost like jury duty. So you would get paid. You'd come in and you would be part of a deliberative panel for a period of time where you'd be publicly speaking with experts and people with different views and people with stakes and interests and unions or whoever's involved, lobby groups even potentially, and they'd all be giving you their information. And then at the end of it, this Citizens Assembly would make a recommendation to a commissioner who would take that to Parliament, and then it wouldn't be binding, but it's like a leveled up referendum because the people are engaged, and what you do is use statistics to make sure you're getting a really accurate slice of the population. So people with really different views. You're getting like that real southern farmer bloke. You're getting the some little old lady from here, and you're getting a someone you're getting representation from every demographic, every sort of viewpoint, and they get a chance to speak on their understanding and their positions. And what it does is they found that statistically it did a really good job of helping bridge understanding gaps. People spoke, people talked about them rather than getting real angry and going, this is my viewpoint, this is how it should be. What they were doing is they were listening to other people and they were understanding and they were empathizing. And they necessarily didn't get exactly what they wanted, but they found common ground and they found compromise. And that led to reform of some major areas in Ireland, which I think is beautiful. Honestly, is how democracy could evolve if we wanted it to.
I like the concept. I like it. It's very community. It gives everybody a voice. It's kind of that consult from all perspectives that you're talking about in all dynamics, eras, and age groups. It definitely sounds credible. I like how you're very much a numbers guy. You talk a lot about stats and data, and you lean on something that has some factual evidence behind it to support it.
I try to.
Yeah. What else is there that you got going on that you want to do? The party, I should say, as a whole.
Every policy, I can go through everything, but we want to go abundance of electrification. So we want to create more renewable energy than we need. Because at the moment, if we've got more electrical energy, but that's coming from solar or wind or whatever, that just means power problems come down.
I was going to say, would you an idea would be like some kind of funding towards getting solar put on housing, because there's a lot of people out there that would like to have solar, and you would, if you had panels on every single house, you would be making more energy from the solar to be able to put back into the grid to run other plants and stuff like that as well. As well as run your own homes, and it's not costing money. Again, it's like an investment, essentially.
It is already. I just heard recently that New Zealand has passed the tipping point for batteries now as well. So we passed the tipping point for solar a few years ago, but the tipping point basically means that if you were to get solar panels today, you would be better off. And now because batteries are included, you're definitely going to be better off. So if you put solar panels in your house, you will do better off in their lifetime on average than you would without. The downside would be the place you might need support is people fronting that initial cost. So I think from the top of my head, I don't know the exact policy, but I think that is something we're doing. Oh God, I should know this one because I did actually look at this recently, but my brain is spinning a little bit. But yeah, there is something that is really important, and there's a big detailed policy on that as well. But we are a numbers party. I'm not actually the big numbers guy. So all the people working for Opportunity, or they're not working, they're volunteers. They're doing this in their own time. They're doing all the research and the hard yards and writing this policy document with stats and references to real, important stuff. These guys are smart, and I read it and I talk to them about it and I ask my questions, and I can only take in some of it sometimes because I have to process what they've said and go back to them and ask them more questions.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of stuff to go over when you're talking about politics with an entire country. Yeah. And everything that is encompassed in it. But I definitely think like a government that's giving back to the community to then give back to the country is how it should work. Like how it makes sense. Like if you as a government can help your communities run more efficiently, that's also going to piggyback onto helping the country in a whole run better, like in regards to the solar and stuff like that, because obviously it's a massive cost. Yeah. Well, electricity is a massive cost, and like put some fucking panels on people's houses, because you can't just put them all over the streets. Yeah. So put them on some or some funding towards it. People still have to pay just most like of it up front.
Pumps and stuff like that.
You know how they do up to 80% to this amount of money. Like you do that for solar. Like I would put solar if I was getting some kind of grant towards it or something. Like I'd put it on next week because it's massive. You think as well, like we're going to end up going away from gas at some stage, so then we're probably going to have to go back to cylinders to heat our hot water, unless you put hot water heat pumps in, which I can do. But you go back to a cylinder, and that's a shit. Like because I do a lot of work on dairy farms, and their biggest cost is hot water. So the biggest cost is hot water. So now I'm not an electrician, but I want to get my electrical ticket so that I can get solar, because I know that it's about to go like berserk. Like solar's going to boom.
Like he just said, that tipping point obviously makes it make sense that's
where so you go and get, if you're a Sparky, go and get your ticket now for solar, because start getting it out there. But definitely, because then if you go from gas back to cylinders, you then go and get your panels on and you do your hot water and stuff while you've got your batteries all charged up, then you're not spending all that money trying to heat a cylinder, because it's being done from the sun. That's naturally occurring. Yeah. It just makes sense.
Well, you mentioned gas as well. Look at petrol prices at the moment. We're so vulnerable to international petrol prices and demand and supply. Doesn't it make sense for us to go hard on alternatives to that? Because like not everyone's going to be able to afford an electric car, but they are going to get more accessible. They're going to get cheaper. There is going to be some trickle down. And more people are going to get electric vehicles. You want to better charge them, right?
They're dangerous though, those batteries.
They can be, yeah.
They're expensive.
I've seen like some like blowing up.
Oh shit!
Is it lithium?
Yeah, well, it was like that with the cell phones as well, wasn't it? The old Samsung's blowing up. I heard that.
It's sketchy, man.
If you have a power cut, you got solar panels, you're not affected?
Because you have a battery that's charged.
Yeah.
So it
depends how big the battery is.
It goes down to the battery, and you just go off the battery, but the battery would last a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So as long as it's sunny, you're still going to have power.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the sun is generating the power.
Yeah.
But like, is a day's worth of sunshine generating a day's worth of energy?
I don't know what I think it depends on how many panels and whatnot in your storage, because there's heaps of different ways that can be done. I think at the moment, if you don't have batteries, you can just live off it during the day, and then at night time you are off like
power,
the standard power.
Yeah.
But you can also like do it so that it gets bought back, so you can actually make money from generating power back. Is it back to the grid or something like that?
I know that they've done that overseas. I haven't personally heard of that in New Zealand, but it wouldn't surprise me if we did it. Actually,
I thought that was how it worked.
Makes sense.
The
You
extra
start
power that you're
generating enough
generating.
power, then they're going to start to recoup so it gets
Yeah.
used.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel like I should know the answer to that question.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I thought that was it. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, maybe we do.
Yeah. I don't know. It just would make sense. Otherwise, I'll just disconnect my solar panels if I'm not getting paid for it. That's my power.
Well, it is, I think, a very big move towards the future is more of the in-depth in the solar. But you look at, like, I'm just thinking of, like, TVs and that. We had the move where everybody started thinking the 3D TVs were going to be the next big thing, and next minute nobody's got a 3D TV. I don't even think they make them anymore.
I don't even like looking at 3D.
I think they're giving people headaches, which is probably the issue with them.
Probably, but it's funny to see how society can all move in one direction, or it can think to pivot and then it doesn't work. What Kazi Trev?
So I just answered your question for you.
You fact check?
If you generate more power, then can you sell it? Yes, in New Zealand, you usually can sell excess electricity back to the grid if you generate more than you use. More.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Most commonly through solar panels. So,
Nice. Yeah. Back to the grid. Yeah.
Well, now I know that. That's good.
Yeah. So
I should have known that before.
Yeah. So I think the way that they do it is your power says if you're not home all day and you're like, oh, why'd I get solar then? But you're generating the power, you're getting paid for that power, and then you obviously pay your power bill from using the power at night.
Yeah.
So it's kind of swapping over, I guess. You're not using the power during the day that you're generating, but then you're using it at night from the grid.
Yeah.
And that's kind of paying for that.
It's going to bring down prices.
Yeah. So whether you get batteries or not, it should equal out pretty close.
It's just at the moment, we only seem to just build just enough. So at the moment, the focus of power companies and all that, they're only just building what they need to meet the expected demand. So we want to do more than we need. We want to go so far overboard that power drops ridiculously. That's the goal, the long-term goal there. Let's facilitate and encourage way more solar power.
Yeah, man. I reckon that's a good idea. It's a really good idea.
I do as well. You're speaking some sense. Anything else?
Oh, there's thousands of things.
Well,
but,
of course, like what's the primaries?
Where can we find the information so we can dig more? Because I'm interested.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
Opportunity Party website. We've got a policy page. It's been long in the making, but the tax policy was just released. It's been an interesting process.
Talk to us about that, because we're both stuck on
that's
the higher
the land value,
tax.
the one I was talking about.
I was going to say. So, but the tax brackets that we're in won't shift.
The tax brackets are changing as well. I don't know them exactly off the top of my head. Getting lots of figures, lots of data.
Is tax going to be higher in the higher brackets? Are those percentages changing at all? Do you know?
They
Or
are
looking
changing.
to?
I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but they are changing.
17.5
But
something.
But the number I told you before, about 70% being off, that includes all this stuff. So the one fact figure I can give you right now is 70% of New Zealanders will have more money after our policy change than they do now.
If opportunity get in.
If opportunity, well, yeah, that's the other thing. Is
When.
When. Sorry, you're right.
Positive thinking.
I slip of the tongue. We always, when we get in.
Yeah.
This is our time. Like, we're getting so much media coverage at the moment. Like, more than we've ever got at this point in the cycle. We've got so many more candidates than we've ever had and multiple electorates across New Zealand that it's a great time for the party. Like Kule, she's been on so many of the big news. She was on Jack Tame with the breakfast thing. Like, it was getting a lot of attention. We just had what's the name? Verity, the political commentator, talk about us.
You just came on the Making a Statement podcast.
Yeah, making a statement, like, it's huge next steps, right? You know, like, people want to know about us, and it's real positive. Q's all about the future. She's looking at, and the party is about looking at how can we make New Zealand the best place it can possibly be for everyone, better opportunities for everyone. Because why else would we do this? And it's resonating with people. We're talking about a future where people have choices, opportunities, and they want to stay in New Zealand. Like, we want to look at making science like a key pillar of this country. Like, really invest in science. Make it. There's so much money in industry and potential in New Zealand science. We've already got, like, the Rocket Lab, which is a really cool one. But let's do more of that. Keep the New Zealand scientists here. Like, one of my best mates and his partner, they're looking at moving overseas because she can't get work here. She's got, I think it's marine biology, It's just there's just nothing for her.
Mm.
So let's make opportunities for people like that to stay here and give back to New Zealand, so rather than training them so they can go overseas. That's what we need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just makes sense to me.
The healthcare system kind of has that same fault to it too, doesn't it?
Oh, healthcare. Oh, yes. Healthcare is
You're going to fix that when you come in?
fixing everything, mate.
Yeah. What's that look like?
Healthcare is not broken, but parts of it are. And I mean, we've got some healthcare people that speak way better on healthcare than me, so I'd listen to them. But I think one of the big ones we want to sort of try and facilitate is better primary care access. So more GPs, encourage more GPs so people can get to see the GPs earlier. They can treat things earlier. And the run-on of that on the health system is big. But yeah, I mean, I can't read all the policy at once, so I've got to work through things. My focus at the moment is reading about our land value and getting the details and getting my understanding of that up, because that's the one that comes up the most.
Yeah.
And then I'll jump onto the next policy. I want to look at our education and stuff, but you need to invite our health person on to really talk about that, because I think,
I definitely think the GP stuff is a big one, because like the amount, like ever since COVID, I feel like I've got sick way more frequently, even now as well. But I just don't even waste my time going to the doctors for stuff anymore, because like I call them, I need to get in to see my doctor. Cool as you can probably say it's today. I won't get into the doctor till maybe like next Thursday.
Bro, mine was
and I'm
3
like,
weeks.
by then,
yeah,
I'm fucking good. Like I don't need you anymore. Like
I
if I need it, like I'm just gonna go to the hospital and sit there for 9 hours until I can get seen. And then I'm probably going to be good by then too. So I'll just sit at home and suffer until I feel all right, unless I don't.
9 hours would be a short stint at the hospital. But
Lower
I
heart
specifically,
hospital's fucking terrible.
I specifically said I want to see a doctor in person, because we've been seeing the doctor via a computer screen.
Or phone calls and stuff.
Teleconference calls.
yeah.
That shit don't do much help. You know what I
It's
mean?
not the same.
It's not the same. I might as well just call the Healthline.
Just go chat
May as well phone Healthline, bro. They're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I said I want to see a doctor. Bro, appointment 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Have you heard of the term continuity of care?
No, because I don't think we get that.
Continuity of care is sort of what you're talking about. It's having a relationship with your doctor, effectively. You're having a connection where you sort of get to know them. And there's enough, I think, evidence that if you've got that with your doctor, you're generally going to be a lot better off, because they know your history, they know you, they know the sort of lifestyle that you have, and their ability to be effective with you is significantly greater. So if you can facilitate that with more GPs, like I think GPs is another profession where at the moment it's sort of like viewed as you've failed as a doctor for some of it. Like, this is my understanding by talking to a few GPs, but like you sort of like you want to become a surgeon or whatever, and if you can't do any of that, then you become a GP, and it's like, whereas that's not really particularly helpful, and it's also, I think there's definitely changes we could make there. I don't want to say what they are because I'm not an expert in that, but that's something that needs to change, so we can give people that continuity care, so they can see a GP when they need to, that knows them, that knows what they've got, that knows their history, that knows what they're on, medications and all that sort of thing, and that gives them the care that they need. And that's the direction we need to go, absolutely.
I agree. If you had to tell our viewers and the people that are tuning in a summarized version as to why they should vote for you, what are you saying?
We want to focus on evidence-based changes for all New Zealanders to make better opportunities for everyone in this country. We move that way. Sorry. We're not interested in ideology. We're not interested in left or right, National or Labour. We're interested in what will work. We're interested in what's going to help Kiwis get have a better life now and in the future. We want to make sure that our kids are inheriting a better world from us than we inherited, and that they have the tools they need to do even better than us, because that's what opportunity is. It's an idea of societal growth, building up communities, better engagement and democracy. That is our party. So we'd work with National or Labour, and we'd do it by pushing evidence-based policies, holding them to account, having this vision that we're going to guide through and hopefully inspire more and more New Zealanders to grow who we are. So we want them to give us a chance to represent them, because we're all volunteers. We're all just everyday people that see something wrong, have passion about making New Zealand the best it can possibly be, and they're all putting all their own time into this to give this movement a chance to change politics in New Zealand.
And can I ask, if you get in, does that then become a payroll kind of thing? Now you're getting paid as a government party, obviously.
Well, it would be the politicians, the ones that get in. So I'd be on the list. Depends on our vote share whether I get in. We don't know our positions yet. We're still working on that internally. But every politician that gets in would get paid. I don't know the fine details of campaign management. I know, for example, we will get a lump sum for marketing and stuff that's based on our outcome in the last election. So they do actually do a little bit to facilitate smaller parties, though we've never had a small party come in under MMP. You see your question again?
I just asked if it becomes a paid role if you get in.
So the MPs it would, and I don't know how the funding of the party itself would work in terms of like paying internally. A lot of it at the moment is done on donations. So we do have donations coming in that we use to pay for all our marketing and all our equipment and stuff like that.
And so when is the election?
November 7th.
Okay, so you've got quite a widespread lead up build to it campaign. And how can people vote for you?
The same way they vote for anyone.
Oh,
make sure you register, sign
But
up
how
to
do
vote.
how do you sign up to vote? Because I haven't done it in years, and I thought you got sent papers, but I've never been sent papers.
That means they probably don't have your current address, or you should already be registered to vote. Once you're registered, I think you're registered forever.
Yeah, I voted yonks ago.
So you will be registered,
Mm.
but if you haven't updated your electorate, you just have to get in contact with them.
Do you just go on the website, or?
Yeah, you can go on the website. Just search the orange dude, elections New Zealand or something, and you better update it that way.
Oh, yeah.
I
you can
pictured the
also
orange dude.
Yeah, you could also go to like a local market if political party turns up. I know that Labour often have register. Their campaign at the moment is actually register to vote. So they're not trying to convince you to vote Labour. They're doing a lot of just sign up, and I think that's a really cool thing for them to be doing.
Because I think it's very old fashioned.
Yeah.
We worked this out last year. We had our local elects come through onto the podcast. We spoke to like the the mayor candidate, and what were the rest of them called? What was it that they were going into? Onto the
I
board?
think they were just council.
Like
members.
community
council.
board
Yeah.
members and
Right,
council board members and that. And so we spoke to them in their lead up to that campaign, and that's when we found out they're still doing you get it through the letter and the post, and otherwise you got to go drop it off to the polling booth, which is like 2 p.m. on a Thursday when we're all at work, and it's only in this location on this day.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, that's old school, and it's not with the times. So that's
Not when
another
you-
thing. that needs
Not
to
when
be
you
fixed.
work, bloody.
I'm not going to
10
take
hour
I'm not going
days.
to take an afternoon off to drop a piece of paper in a box when it should have been sent to my email. Like, come on.
You still have to vote in person, but you can advance vote now in New Zealand. So that's the way around it. So if you, like, I lived on the West Coast, they had voting. They usually try to have voting booths spread out across the country for the national election. It's obviously going to be a bit smaller when it comes to the district health boards and stuff. I'm trying to get more involved with the local stuff, but it's been a hard one to engage with. That's for sure.
So you're based in the Wairarapa when it comes to this stuff.
I'm alternating. I've got a place in the Wairarapa that I can stay, and I'm going back and forth between the two places. So I'm halfway in the Hut, halfway in the Wairarapa.
Yeah, because I saw in the email you said I'm in between Lower Hut and Masterton, and then I was like, Upper Hut?
That makes sense.
Or Featherston.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, no, I've got a place in Masterton and a place in Lower Hut, so I'm going
because
between
obviously
them.
with the school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So I'm working. My goal is to spend more and more time in the Wairarapa, less and less time in Lower Hut. But I can only go where the work is because I still need to be able to pay my bills. So,
Wairarapa's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it over there.
Yeah.
All my family live over there.
It was really nice getting around. I had my first meeting where people came to listen to me, and it was like, you came to speak to hear me, but I was talking to them as a potential representative of them in Parliament. We are focusing on party vote, so I'm not actively campaigning for the electorate seat. But I mean, if people are inspired by our party and what I'm saying and that, then I'd absolutely be honoured if they voted for me.
That's cool.
So could we vote for you over here?
You couldn't vote for me, and
Because do you have an opportunity?
well, that's the thing is I don't. We're looking for more candidates, but
Over
at
here.
this current point in time, I don't believe we have someone for opportunity.
Bill.
What's this electorate? Which one's this one? This is Kapiti, right?
We would be Manawatu Horowhenua.
Yeah, no, you
Excellent.
don't have anyone for Manawatu or Horowhenua. You
Yeah.
have the closest is Wellington.
Yeah. So, which is why I was like, I could come on this podcast if you guys were interested, because why not?
Speak to our people and
Yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
audience.
Exactly.
That makes
Let them
sense.
know
That's
that
cool.
we
You might
exist,
plant
yeah.
a seed out there for somebody,
Yeah, I mean-
or pique some interest.
Yeah, I mean, I could say that to your audience. If you're interested in the Opportunity Party and you like what we're saying, reach out to us if you would like to be a candidate in this area. Because we're looking for people that just everyday Kiwis that have passion to help their communities and help New Zealand. So let us know.
Vote for Dills. Nah.
Hey, if you want to do it,
You'd
reach
love
out.
that.
You'd have to
Yeah.
do the
That'd be
application.
cool.
I've got to get through this wrestling thing first. I've got to be a wrestler and then I'll be a politician. Right? One thing at a time. I do.
I said that with the Horowhenua one when they were coming through last year. I said, you'll be up there soon, I reckon.
Yeah, and
And then this slot opens and maybe it's just...
they're trying to pull me in. But I do like that. I like being able to wear heaps of hats and go do everything because it's like life is short. I think you kind of live with that same
Yeah.
mentality, and it's just like I'll give it a go.
I definitely, the stuff, I would have to look more into the policies, but I definitely get with all the things that you've said so far. Obviously, they're the pleasing things, they're the good things that are going to be coming from. You just never know if you're aligned with everything that a party
No,
has to say. There's
absolutely.
always going to be things that they're going to do and be like, oh, I don't know about that. But from what you've stated already, I'm definitely on board with what you guys have to say. So
Yeah.
I'll be doing some more reading on it. I try not to get too into the politics and reading too much into it because for me, a lot of them are saying very similar things in most of the policy stuff or most of the discussions. So I kind of just go off of like what I gauge the people to be. So whoever's in the head,
That's a good way to do it too.
the head of the snake, you'd say.
Well, that's actually how most people vote. Like, if we look at the evidence for voting, most people aren't voting on policy. They might vote on a key policy that's really important to them, but otherwise they're actually voting on how they feel. And that's often the people they've spoken to.
So like a relatability thing for me. Like if I can sit there and listen to this person talk and feel like they're being genuine and that they actually care, they don't want to just get up there and get paid big money for the rest of their lives because they've made it up there. But it's really hard because people are good at lying.
Yeah.
Well,
And it genuinely seems that way because if you look back in history, like they
You get a
seem like the
fascist leader,
best people,
like Hitler.
best people, and then as soon as they get in, they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Genuinely, they don't.
and I suppose I have to hope that I can show that I'm genuine and
Oh.
that I come across that way. But yeah,
We've had 34 people sit in the seat, and you seem pretty genuine from what I can tell.
Yeah, a big thing for me is I like having these political conversations, especially from different people, different perspectives. Opens my mind and gets me thinking. But I hope it helps like our audience and that they might be tuning in that don't pay attention to these kind of things to now maybe have a look more into what it is that we're talking about. And like politics in general, that's another thing that the schooling system doesn't actually really get into or teach in any capacity. I don't think that's in the educational kind of space. Yet
Civics,
it plays a big part in the role of the history to come and the life that plays out to be if you have your say and you be a part of the voting aspect. So again, it's another thing missing from, I guess, our education system.
I absolutely think we need to do more in civics and engagement with democracy.
Yeah,
because-
or maybe get into the schools. Like, go and put your opinion and your voice into the schools and help people plant a seed to care for when they do get older.
Yeah, we need to be careful with that because, like, I never bring up politics in the classroom because, I mean, kids can ask me questions about stuff, but I'll never share, like, my personal views. I try to encourage them to think because we can't tell kids how to vote or how to think because otherwise we're messing with their understanding. We need to help them think and critically examine ideas. And you have to believe, I think, that your ideas are the right ones because they'll choose you because they believe in it. Because if you have to tell them to vote or they tell them to believe in this particular party, then there's something wrong with your ideas, I think.
They're small mind, not small mind as in like, dumb, but small mind as in developing.
Yes.
And that's manipulated easily and can be molded very easily. But again, there's really the right way to deliver it. And not necessarily like, hey, this is politics and vote for me because of this policy, but more like, hey, this is what politics is, and raise awareness around it so that when they do grow up, they kind of have an understanding of what is, running behind the scenes.
Potentially like school elections, having more, I know some schools sort of do it, but I think more impactful school elections where they can actually have a president or prime, school run for the school, and they've kids vote for them and they actually campaign and they have a budget potentially, like actually invest in it as an idea to get them to appreciate what democracy ideas could do, and actually give them some power to actually influence some stuff at the schools.
That's quite, and you can even do that community board thing with the school students and things like that.
Like, I know we had a student rep when I was in high school. There's a student rep for the board of trustees, so there is some stuff already, but I think it's very off to the side. I think we need to make it more prominent in education, and that's civics. Like, my last flatmate was a French girl, and she was surprised at our lack of civics compared to what they do in Europe, which is a big one for them. But I mean, they went through the whole Nazi thing with the whole of Europe, went through the whole World War II. We did as well, but it was more from a distance.
Yeah.
So I don't think we had the same lessons as the people that actually lived Germany, that were occupied by the Nazis, right? Like, it's a different, I think, psychological impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Before we kind of wrap around to the close, you mentioned at the start, we went through a dark period. Now you're getting back into some therapy. What was the dark period? And I noticed you mentioned it was kind of around that COVID, which is obviously there's the lockdown, there's money restraints, there's social dynamics are lost and all the rest of it. So what kind of happened there for you?
I am, what's the right word? I have had issues with trusting myself, and being social, where I suppose where I haven't believed in the past. I've had times where I haven't believed. I sort of like, why would anyone want to be around me? Why would anyone want to have a relationship with me? All that sort of thing.
Did you get bullied when you were younger?
Not really. No. I mean, a couple of things, but nothing major. I think it's just my experiences lead me to that point where there were times where I'd be out socializing and then all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, they don't want me around, and I'd leave because
it's like a confidence thing.
Yeah. And that, I think, hit hard. I mean, I was in a flat, I was at uni at the time, and it was a cool group of people. It wasn't them, like they were inclusive and we were socializing and everything. And then I think just one day because I was doing great before that, one day I think I started to really overthink everything. I started to get quite insular and start to cut myself off in a way because and as more I sunk into the hole, more I dug deeper, and I was like, no one wants to be around you. No one wants to. And I got quite deep in there, and it was only with actually a couple of good mates there, and like I made some really good friendships at uni, and that helped me come to terms with some of that stuff. And the uni actually did give me access to therapists as well, which was another really cool thing because and that helped me to face some of those demons and give me the tools to keep facing them in a way that has helped me, get to where I am now, where I'm able to talk about it and able to recognize when they're, at my peripherals and going, okay, I need just to talk to someone again, which is why I've got my therapist. I don't go regularly, but I might go 2 or 3 times a year just to check in, to let you know how I'm feeling, to get a human perspective on the stuff that it's hard to talk about. And I think it's a great strategy because it's helped prevent me sinking back into the deepest parts of that hole.
What would the deepest parts look like? Obviously, you're isolating, so you're probably just spending a lot of time to yourself. But what's happening in those times?
I'm. That's a hard one to talk about. I am sitting there in the dark on the floor, going, what's the point of any of this? I was never suicidal. I never got to that point. I was just like, I need to keep myself away from everyone else so that they're having a better life. And it's this whole where you're constantly telling yourself all these horrible things.
Did you ever go through people telling you horrible things about yourself?
Not really, no.
Were you misperceiving things, like reading
Yep.
rooms wrong and stuff like that, and with your own kind of lens
Yeah.
rather than the true?
One of the first times I actually managed to call it out, I was working, and a colleague said something, and I started to like spiral because I was like, oh my gosh, you know, they hate me, they don't want me around, and then I was like, I stopped and I took a breath, and it's like, that's ridiculous. And that was after I started my therapy sessions, and I was like, I managed to breathe and calm down, and I went back to working, and it was fine. It was just my brain was telling me these things, and I had to learn to step back and go, that's not true.
Sounds like you have anxiety.
To some degree, yeah.
Mm. Sounds like you get kind of like panic attacks almost.
I don't think well, to my knowledge, I've never had a panic attack like I've seen in media, but perhaps.
They're different though.
Yeah.
Even just like this, you can get like, it's almost like impending doom thoughts. Like you think the worst things are happening and
Overwhelming sensations.
yeah, and things are just going terribly, and then your brain starts going in circles about the situation that's going on, and I get it sometimes. I have certain crowds that when I'm around, I sometimes don't feel like I fit in, but that stems from just. So I went through situations in like college and stuff like that around certain people that pretended to be my friends and then weren't when I was around them with other people.
Yeah.
So now when I'm around certain groups of people, I'm like, oh, I wonder if that person actually likes me or if he's just liking me because he's friends with that person. So I mean, I get that like all the time. And then I just sit there and I have to sit to tell myself, well, if he doesn't like me, he can fuck off.
Well, yeah.
To be honest, I used to care heaps. I used to, but we are who we are. You are who you are. I am who I am. And some people just don't get along, and it is what it is, really. Like, you don't have to like everyone, and not everyone has to like you.
You don't need a million friends, do you?
No, I'll say I have no friends, but I got like these guys, and I got a couple of mates that I've been friends with for years, but I don't really like have massive groups of friends like I did at school. I just have people the people that are my friends now are more like family to me now. Like they're my close people that I class as friends, but are more or less family. Yeah.
It's when you find those people and you're like, they're not leaving. They could, but they're around and they come back and they're there for you. Then it doesn't matter if some other people are there because you can't have a relationship with everyone. And you're
it's
right.
that continuity of care, like low key, but in a friendship realm. Like when you
really
got the
good way to
friends
put
that
it,
you're building, and you got these long term relationships, and that does become like that because they've seen every part of you in the worst stages and the downs and the ups. And
that's a really good way to put it.
I do that sometimes.
I'll say, obviously, it sounds. I'm not a doctor, of course. It sounds like it's an internal thought processing thing. But my perspective of you is you're a nice guy, genuine guy, and I like to talk to you. So just so you know. No, I thought I'd tell you that just so if you're ever thinking about it, just think about that time you said on the podcast and that guy said, no, I'm a nice guy. You are. I
appreciate that.
It's very, very
It's been a good
cute.
conversation.
Very wise of you.
Oh, I'm a very empathetic person. So when I hear you say that and I think about my times when I felt like that, I can imagine being in your shoes, and it's not a easy thing to feel.
No.
Obviously, I don't get it as intense as a lot of other people, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy thing to feel. No. So, yeah, I
sort of talking about it, to be honest. Some of the stuff I've never even said to friends. Like, but I suppose it was easy to talk to you guys. You're good at conversation.
we try.
I'm gonna go tell some people some.
It's kind of a job, eh?
Podcast,
so
you just talk.
I think it's I forgot the word, and I can't remember the word. Don't worry.
Well, I appreciate you being vulnerable, bro, and being able to step into a space and revisit some times that we're in the darker realm.
Maybe a listener has got something similar. So I suppose
if
that's
Ethan had something similar. So that's what I mean. There's going to be people out there that are listening that maybe understand the perspective that you're coming from, or have had those invasive thoughts. What's the tool set? What did you learn from the therapy that you can apply in your day to day, or in that moment with the colleague that's helped you navigate that?
So that was stepping back and observing the situation and going, this is an irrational thought, like saying it out loud. There was some cheesy things early on that helped when I was in the deeper parts, which was looking in the mirror and saying nice things to myself. Like I don't do that.
Like self-affirmations.
Yeah. But when you're in the deepest part of the hole, I think those are most helpful then.
Yeah.
When you're in the deepest part of the hole, you need to talk to somebody. You cannot get out by yourself. I don't want to say cannot, but it's very hard to.
Yeah, and even if that somebody is therapy.
Yeah. And I think therapies they're special. That's their job, right? They're experts in that connection and helping you get perspective. But it's having friendships, finding people that like you for who you are, not for who you're pretending to be.
I think because I did therapy as well. The biggest thing that not because of these situations, just other things, but I think I've said it before on the podcast, but the biggest takeaway, the biggest tool I got from it was mindfulness. So like being aware of the situation that you're in and telling yourself, I guess the same thing, you say telling yourself nice things about yourself, but also just reminding yourself of where you're at.
Like a reality check.
Are. Yeah, essentially. So just sitting there thinking, I'm bigger than this. Yep. This is just my mind. Like,
it's actually
I
crazy.
am who I am. Like
I've gone into therapy for whole other reasons as well, bro. Like I was on a rehab program for 6 months for slipping 2 discs in my back. And I was trying to avoid the surgery. So I was going through the 6-month program, but in that you get pain specialists and dietitians and physiotherapists and all the rest of it, occupational therapists. But you also get like therapy sessions, like counseling, because you're trying to manage pain and that's impacting every area of your life. Yeah. But even through that program, the pain specialists and the therapy and that, the mindfulness was actually one of the biggest takeaways from it, because they're teaching you how to manage your pain and like traffic light systems, so you know what's okay, and keeping in mind what is the reality, and it's not going to get as bad as it was.
Yeah. The thing, I think the biggest thing about it, and I don't know if it's like a new age thing, but your brain chemistry, the way you think and everything like that, literally affects your whole entire body. It's your nervous system, everything. So like the pain that you're feeling sometimes isn't even the pain that you're feeling.
Yeah,
it's over pain. It's over it. Yeah, it can be exaggerated or it can be under exaggerated. Like there's so many things that your brain does. So you gotta be real careful with your brain. Don't drink too much alcohol and don't get punched in the head too many times and stuff like that, because man, like your brain chemistry is so important. Like, and I think that's a big thing why they say mindfulness. Like if you can just tone it down a little bit, it's not that easy, but do you know what I mean?
No, but that's kind of the summary umbrella word for it. Like the mindfulness is definitely, I guess, if you go and deep dive into everything, what that fits under the category of that, then 100%. I think there's a big takeaway.
Like some might just be doing yoga or something. Like, it's whatever works for you.
Yeah,
like I tried lots of things. I've done journaling as well. Like there's so many strategies that you've got to try different things to see what helps you.
It's like when you try and find a hobby, you know, you're not just going to pick something up and that's going to be the right fit. You got to try and go through and find something you're passionate about that you're good at. It's the same thing with finding a tool that works for when you're down.
Mine's lists.
Exercise.
I like exercise.
Well, running was my thing, and I wasn't able to run during that time because I messed up my shins. So that was another compounding factor, not being able to go for runs. Suddenly, that was one of my stress relievers. Yeah. So what do you do? Lists?
Mine's lists. Yeah. I have this thing about writing lists. Of things. I don't know why. You should see my notes, bro. It's fucked up.
I've got like to-do list, to buy list, grocery list.
I have like 6 business lists, and they all have almost the same thing on every single list, but I just had to write it down again just to remind myself that I've got it under control.
Yeah, but it's categorized. It's helped shuffle and put something from here to here, and it feels so fulfilling as well if you've got any kind of to-do or to buy or whatever list.
And you close it off.
Tick things off. We've even got, Arohali and I have a bucket list. So we've literally got a whole bunch of things on a list of like, do this and do that and do this. And throughout our relationship, we go back to that list and tick things off. you know, and that's quite fulfilling. That's quite cool. It's like we're getting somewhere in our relationship.
So definitely list. And then if I'm having like a bit of a stress attack or a panic attack, the one thing he said to do is 2 short, sharp breaths up your nose and do that 3 times. And then, because I get it to the point that like I can feel my heartbeat in my head, my pupils go like real small, and I'm like, my chest starts getting tight. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? And it could be about nothing. It could just come out of nowhere. The weirdest thought could happen, and then I'll be like,
it's weird.
Something's wrong with me. I can't breathe properly. And then I'll feel my heartbeat in my head, and I'm like, oh my God, there's nothing wrong with me, but why do I feel this way? It's just weird. I don't know why, but that's what I mean. Brain chemistry, it's weird. It just comes out of nowhere. And I never used to get it when I was younger. It's only now that I'm older. But I think, I know you do as well, take a lot on. I always take a lot on. I'm like, I always have to have heaps on the go. And I can't live not like that. I just have to. So it's kind of like my own doing, I think. I just put too much on my plate, and then I'm like, oh my God, I need a break. There's that burnout we talk about. It's like, I feel like I'm getting the burnout, but I like it. Like, I like the pressure. But then I don't think my brain does.
I guess that's where you got to do diet. You got to look after your sleep. You got to make some new time, have
which
some
I didn't
quality
do
time.
on the weekend, and now I'm regretting it because I'm tired as,
You got
and
a
I
full
feel
week ahead.
buggered, and yeah. So I'm looking forward to having some good sleep tonight.
That's the one. Well, bro, I don't want to hold you up too long because you got to travel all the way back down to Lower Hutt and spend a small fortune in gas money. But thank you for coming through tonight, bro. I really do appreciate you joining us, talking to us about your backstory. You've had an interesting life. You've gone here, there, and everywhere. You've got a whole bunch behind you to go forward with, and I love that for you. I wish you all the best with this election, and obviously hope to keep seeing your face pop up around the place and talking about things. If anybody out there is listening, tuned in, feel free to drop your questions to Matt in the comments or whatever, and he will try and come back to you. And go check out the website, Opportunity.
So, I mean, I have a TikTok. You can find me on there, Matt versus the Void. But I also have my political party email. If you've got questions about politics, you find my email address on the party website. Just click on my profile.
That might be where I've seen you.
Where?
On TikTok.
Yeah.
Before the podcast started, I was like, I've seen your face somewhere. I don't know what it is. Now I'm starting to think maybe it's TikTok. I'm going to go and have a look after
I just hit 1,000 followers.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have just been some random video that just struck in my brain. And then, because when you walked in, I went, man, I've seen you somewhere. I just don't know where. No, it could be that.
I had a few thousand views, so well, maybe a little bit. But yeah, that's please reach out, and I will I'll be sharing this on my social medias as well, and so ask questions, and I'll engage if you make a post or something or anything like that.
Yeah, 100%. Before we wrap up, bro, we do a what are you grateful for? So looking at the week that you've had, what in reflection can you say you are grateful for?
It's just been my 32nd birthday on Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday. So what, yesterday?
Yeah.
Monday today, Sunday yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, well, happy birthday for yesterday,
10th,
bro.
Yeah. So I suppose this cliche, but I'm grateful for my friends and family. My mates, connecting to them, people reaching out, and my family always sort of being there for me is a big one.
That's beautiful, bro. Happy birthday too.
Thank you.
Kazi DJ, TJ, what are you grateful for, bruv?
Opportunities.
I actually have no idea. I'd say opportunities, but I feel like I've used that like 100 times. Yeah, probably opportunities. Yeah.
Keep saying opportunities. It's a great word.
Yeah.
It's kind of the catchphrase of the day, right?
It's his catchphrase every week, though.
Yeah.
Every week, I'm grateful for opportunities. Because he's always getting
So
opportunities.
now there's a whole ass party for you to vote for.
Bro, you should
want a
be the
t-shirt?
candidate here.
Kazi Trev, do you want to be a politician?
You should, because you love opportunities.
Do we trust his hand?
Do you trust
Just
my
don't get him
input?
to public speak, because he's not very good at
Skill, we can all learn it.
Huh?
What about you?
Toastmasters.
No, I
mate.
wouldn't be doing it because I'm just too nervous.
Exactly, you cry.
Yeah, no, I'd have a panic attack.
Yeah.
I wouldn't cry, I'd have a panic attack.
No, you'd use your tool set and you'd mindfulness your way through it, and you won't have
Your
a
sharp wrists, your
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's 2.
I mean, they work, right?
It's 2 in and 1 out.
Yeah, you've got the expertise. You'll be right. What are you grateful for, brother E?
Oh, okay. This week, well, 2 weeks. I'm grateful for my kids, but especially Layla. I have this incredible bond with her. But it's the way today got me good. I cried in the way to dance today. I don't know why. It was only a little one. Like, it wasn't like big ass, but
Like 3
we were
years.
just we were just driving.
Crying.
We were just driving, and she does this thing where she sings little songs that she makes up.
Warrior does that too.
And yeah, she's like, and we're just driving to dance, and my daddy loves me so much, and I just love him to the end of the world. And I don't even know where I was at. Where was I at? Sorry about that.
About the song.
Yeah, well, I don't know what part of the song I got cut out with. Anyways, the recording stopped because our storage ran out, so we just had to delete and restart this part of the footage again.
Unedited, unfiltered, unscripted.
Well, it's not really edited. It's
No,
just
we've just
starting
pressed
the clip
record again. We
because-
pressed record again.
Yeah, so I don't know what you've caught, but yeah, no, I'm just grateful for that because, like I said at the start, it's been like pretty full on with work, and I'm tired all the time, and I feel like I'm not really getting much time at home with the kids. So it's nice to know that they can see that I'm doing it for them. I'm going to work and I'm coming home late, but I still love them and they still love me. It's basically what she was saying.
That's her lyrics, yeah.
Yeah, so it just made me feel real good, and just every time I get home, like she runs out, gives me a huge cuddle. They all run out, well, except my son, obviously. But even him, he comes out in the morning. As soon as he sees me, big smile. I'll be sitting there on my laptop working, and he'll just be staring at me. And then when I look at him, he'll give me a big smile, like just that sort of thing. It makes it easier. It's harder while I'm there, but while I'm at home, or like while I'm not there, sorry, it makes it harder.
Well, it's
But when I'm there, it's easier.
It's the reaping the rewards of your hard work.
But it's just nice that they know that I'm doing it for them, not I'm going out and working hard and I'm just never home and daddy doesn't love us because he's never at home. He wants to always be at work. It's like, I don't want to be at work. I'm just doing it so that we have a better life.
So you're grateful for your kids? Is that
Yes.
what you are grateful for?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cute. I'm grateful for Dad. Because obviously it was a long weekend. They hosted, Grand's memorial thing and everything like that. That's a big mahi in itself. But then Dad's been sick and he still came out this afternoon and helped me with some shit around the house. We fixed the door in the back shed and we changed the light switch in the toilet that we've recently renovated. And he's doing that on the back end of a long weekend whilst also being sick.
And he drove my van up to Palmerston North to pick some units up for me and back on Friday.
Oh, Dad's great.
He's the fucking man.
Yeah,
He's so good.
Shout out to Dad. Thank you so much for all your mahi. If anybody else is also tuned in all the way to the end, I'm going to put the plug out there. Put a comment in the section. What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for in the week that's been or in general? We want to see your involvement, your engagement, your participation, and your comments. So if you are out there, you've tuned into the Making a Statement podcast, episode 34 with Matt Shepherd, then please make sure you hit the like, the comments, and the share button. Help us get seen and heard.
And then subscribe.
Subscribe as well. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and it helps us. But if you have made it this far, you're a true trooper. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And if you know anybody else out there that should be a guest in our podcast, then feel free to plug them as well. We're always looking for somebody whose story can be told. But outside of that, Matt, thank you for joining us on the podcast. I hope you have a safe travel home. I hope everybody that was involved in the accident on your travel here is okay, because that was a bit of a hiccup. We started late because you got stuck in a traffic situation because there was an accident. So hopefully everyone's okay. But thank you for joining us, and anybody tuned in, again, this is Matt Shepherd. You can go check him out, his website, his contact details, his social medias, and reach out to him if you have a question. We are about breaking the stigma. Uncensored, unfiltered, unscripted, and unedited conversations live and direct from SHQ. You can find us at makingastatement.co.nz. We have merch available. It's up on the display. Go and afterpay you some. This is Dills. Over here is Brother E. And Kazi DJ TJ. Oops. But Brother E.
What do you think of the Making a Statement podcast?
Oh, I didn't ask that question.
I think it's pretty cool.
Well done.
Yeah, it's some really nice hosts, you know.
We try. We try. We didn't have biscuits and stuff like that out on the spread, but we try.
You guys make it really easy to talk. Like, I've spoken with different groups of people, and sometimes it's not easy to just be yourself, but you have some sort of aura or something about you that means that it's easy for me to speak about stuff, and I feel like you are actually listening, which is really nice.
That's cool. I'm glad that we've got that aura. That's definitely a good takeaway. So thank you. I'm glad to have you on. And we are signing out. Thank you so much, Making a Statement podcast.
Bye. I'm Ethan.
Gonna happen as fire but fighter, ain't nobody putting it down. I'm holding it down, no common grounds. And making a statement is the way to claim that you're running the town.